And we are live, just making sure it's live on YouTube as well. Let's give it a second. I don't have the cool intro like Ryan has on, Kaiju Network has on his streams when we
Yeah.
do them. But it looks like we are officially live 100% on YouTube. I am joined, of course, by the one and only Cinematic Trash. And we're here to talk full spoilers, just an outright discussion about pretty much everything we can think of. Skull Island Season 1. It just dropped on Netflix on Thursday. There's 8 total episodes. Powerhouse did the animation. It's set, I think, like over 20 or so years after the events of Kong Skull Island. So it's kind of set in the past in the Monsterverse. But it
About the
does do.
1990s.
Yeah, it's in the 1990s. That's basically the exact timeline we can go about with it. Definitely not as kid friendly as some would expect, given that it's an animation thing. There's definitely some heavy, violent deaths in the show,
Oh yeah.
surprisingly, and I kind of love that aspect to it. And yeah, like I said, set in the 90s, Skull Island. You get all sorts of new creatures we didn't see in previous Monsterverse films. I mean, we get a lot of different creatures. It really goes a long way to kind of flesh out Skull Island a little bit. And it does end on a cliffhanger. And they did say that season 2 is confirmed. They're probably doing what they did with Pacific Rim the Black, where they split it into kind of 2 parts for like a full season. So I don't know when that second part's going to drop. It kind of makes me mad because, like, just the way it ends, just like, yeah, let's go. Oh, no, we got to wait. I feel like Woody in Toy Story 2, where he's like, oh, come on, let's see the next episode. But, I mean, I'm excited to talk about it. And, of course, like I said, I'm joined by the one and only Cinematic Trash. Be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel if you haven't already. He's the man. He's doing a lot of really cool, interesting, a lot of, like, cult movies and, like, Criterion stuff. So, as of
Oh
late.
yeah. I've sort of evolved a little bit, just a little bit.
Right. But anyways, Pierce, good to have you
Yes.
on, my friend. It's been so long since
It's
I
good
feel
to
like
be back. It's so
it's
good to
good
be
to be
back.
back. It's good to be back. But anyways, I guess we'll get like first impressions on the first 8 episodes of Skull Island overall. What
Mhm.
did you think of it so far?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was
Okay.
cute. It was cute, is what it was. That's the best way I could put it. It was cute. I don't want to say that I'm disappointed because I'm not. There's definitely a lot of cool stuff in the show.
Episode 7 is the best episode.
Yeah, most definitely. Episode 7. Why the reason why I don't really think so highly of the show right now is because there's not a lot of Kong in the show.
Right. It does
Yeah.
take a little bit for him to kind of show up. Like episode 3 is when he first really appears.
Right.
But episode 7, like you said, the best episode of the whole season by far, because now it adds a lot of new context into the show going forward, if you
Yeah.
will, about why Kong is so overprotective of Gia in the future movies. And like I said, like I watched that episode, like I haven't watched the whole thing again. I watched it once, but I
Mhm.
did rewatch episode 7 again because that was my favorite episode of the thing. And like I said, it does add a lot to Kong's character. And that's one thing I really love about the Monsterverse is the way they're treating these Titan characters
With
um,
humanity.
like with humanity, especially
Yeah.
Kong. Godzilla still needs to be given that, I think, more, but I know Toho's, I guess, very picky about what they can and can't do. And I'm just like, you've done so many things with them in the past before. Look at Son of Godzilla. Look how much human elements, like the human elements to the monsters is kind of what makes them unique because
The
they
thing
were
about
actors in suits.
the thing about the Monsterverse is that as much as I love the Monsterverse, having different directors on every single movie kind of worked toward their disadvantage in a way. Because if you look at Godzilla King of the Monsters,
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla has more humanity in that movie than he does in Godzilla versus Kong. I
Right,
think.
he's kind of a dick in Godzilla versus Kong, but I know a lot of
Exactly.
that movie did get kind of cut up, and a lot of his
Yeah.
story and reasons for that. We know that originally in the original version of the film that they shot, it's a much longer movie. I know
Mhm.
Ryan and I did like a whole like 4-part video series talking about it. In essence, Apex was using like an Orca Z, if you will. I guess they had Mechagodzilla to kind of control Godzilla, and that's why he was so kind of rage filled, like asshole mode. But they basically stripped all that stuff down to have the bare basics, if you will, which worked to its benefit. The box office was
Oh yeah.
really good, and it basically saved movie theaters. Let's be honest. I know other things came out afterwards, but I mean, Godzilla versus Kong was that first movie that really kind of like when that first trailer dropped. it was for the first time in a while. People just didn't come. People just seemed happy about something.
I remember that was peak like Monsterverse hype when the first trailer for Godzilla vs Kong came out.
New Empire is going to make a lot more money too now that more theaters are open. Because even then, when it was out, not all the theaters across the states were open. Like California was not open for a couple months after the movie.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
yeah, I get where you're coming
hoping.
from with different directors and kind of different visions. On the one hand, I think it makes it all the more unique with the different visions. Like it feels fresh. And what I do love about the Monsterverse is you can kind of jump in at any movie at any point in time. Everything is just kind of quickly recapped. You don't necessarily have to have seen everything else beforehand. Everything kind of stands on its own, if you will. Even this show, there's like some vague references to like Kong Skull Island from the 1970s. But as of right now, it's kind of really off into doing its own thing. Also wanted to say hello to the chat. Nick's here. Oh, wow. Like I actually got Nick on the stream here. Nick, have you watched the show yet? Just going to ask him the questions. Ghostbusters Afterlife just finished filming, or the second one. Yep. Cool. Still need to watch the show. Yes, Tevya, go. What do you, like I said, watch the show right now, because we're going to get into kind of a full spoilery discussion on the first 8 episodes.
Nick, how you doing, Nick?
Yep. Yeah, like I said, now that we know that there's so much, I need to see that original version, but I doubt they'll ever do it. There's not going to be like a Snyder cut of Godzilla vs. Kong, because Wingard's coming back to direct the next movie. And I know a little bit about it, which a lot of stuff has kind of come out. I don't know everything, but I do know like the main antagonists, if you will. And
this is the first time Wingard's the first director who's going to direct 2 Monsterverse movies.
Right. He is the first one to come back. Like I said, Doherty didn't come back after. I think he was like a story credit and all that. But yeah. So what is Nick saying here? Nope, won't be able to for a while. Still on like Nick, you can finish it in like 3 hours. It's only 8 episodes.
The episodes are really short. They're
very short. They're only like
20 minutes. Yeah,
they're 20 minutes. It breezes by super quickly. So binge that and then like go. Well, then again, he's got his. You know what? Watch it when you can, Nick. But we're gonna get into full spoilers, so if you don't want anything revealed, or if you just don't care, you can just stay on this train. But it's good to see you. But anyways, like I said, my overall impressions in terms of like the Monsterverse projects that were announced, this is the one I had the least amount of like hype for, if you will. I was still excited for it, but my expectations are not as high as say the upcoming Monarch TV show or Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, which is like, that's a crazy ass title just to say out loud. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Like I kind of love the title. It feels like a classic Star Wars title. You know what I mean? It
sounds like a B movie title,
right? And I love kind of like we're bringing the X back, the X factor. It's going to be extreme. If you will. I hear it's going to get even more crazy than Godzilla vs. Kong was, with a lot of the crazier. And you know what?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I mean, you and I both love B movies.
I mean, they are glorified B movies,
right?
I want them to embrace it,
right? Embrace it, embrace the zaniness. And the thing is, we have our serious stuff. We have our like wacky stuff. Like that's kind of the Godzilla franchise in a nutshell. It starts out super serious, and then gradually goes more into batshit insanity, then kind of gets serious again, then slowly leans into batshit insanity, and kind of like an endless cycle, if you will. But that's kind of the fun with the series for me personally. But anyways, so my initial impressions, like I said, my hype wasn't like crazy through the roof. It was just something I was like, oh, this is going to drop today. I'm really excited, because I really didn't have much. I didn't really know, because it's a quick Netflix animated series, the first animated series within the Monsterverse, which is crazy to think about. We're getting an animated series, then we're getting a live action series later on this year. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with season 2 in this. But I guess overall impressions, I really liked it. For having, like I said, I had the least amount of hype for this one, so my expectations weren't exactly like way up here. They were just kind of somewhere here, and it exceeded those expectations with the first 8 episodes. Especially episode 7. I know we've hyped that one up a lot, but that really is the best episode in the show. And like in terms of like what it does for Kong's character, it adds a lot of background. And I'm able to like I even like posted this like on my Let's Talk Twitter account, if you will, about I look at his relationship with Gia and Godzilla versus Kong in a new light as a result of that episode. And you get to see Kong kind of a little bit like kind of having a friend, if you will. Kong even has like a pet bird, which I kind of love. Like that's like he's got like his animal kingdom friends, if you will, where he's just kind of chilling and all that. And we, like I said, it's some of the moments that kind of reminded me of Peter Jackson's King Kong, like where Anne's just kind of playing with Kong a little bit. They're on the ice and that. He has we do come to find that Kong has or had a friend. And due to kind of his temper,
I still don't know her name.
I don't know her name, but she was like an Iwi or like somebody else with the Iwi tribe. We didn't really get much of the Iwi, or maybe we're gonna get something more.
Maybe in season 2, but yeah, they weren't even part of the show at all, it seems.
Right, but there's a lot going on Skull Island, like that they kind of set the stage for. And this was, I know in Skull Island, the birth of Kong, there's like Iwi children who can speak English. So the government and Monarch, I'm sure we're going to come to find more in the next episode, because there's a whole huge ass island of all sorts of monsters and everything else. Kong fights the Kraken, I guess the main villain of this season it's the Kraken. And I was kind of surprised that was the main antagonist.
The octo squid, I called it.
Yeah, the octo squid. I think it's called. I don't really know the names of all these different Titans.
Cthulhu. Yeah, it might be Cthulhu. Something
you could call it Cthulhu, the Kraken, and all that. What's this right here? The same Valerian might take a point to save all the Netflix stuff. Godzilla trilogy, Silver in the Black, Gamma Rebirth. Oh yeah, Gamma Rebirth is coming out this year too, right? For Netflix.
Yeah, I think so. Shoot. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about that one too. Yeah, we are spoiled. Like, I mean, we were kind of in that little void. We were kind of waiting on things. We're also getting a live action Godzilla movie too this year. We are.
Toho's putting out an OG Godzilla movie,
and they're doing another one of those shorts too. It's gonna be like a Jet Jaguar themed one, from what I heard.
Nice.
Yep. Punch. So
punch.
But anyways, I guess we could start like I said, I only watched it. You only got around to watching it once, really quickly?
Yeah, I watched it once all the way through. I binged it.
Yeah,
what I did was I watched the first 4 episodes, then took a break, and then watched the next 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of like quickly powered through them on Thursday, and just kind of gave it a day or so to kind of let it all settle. Because when you are watching the whole season, there's a lot to kind of digest, and I do want to like check it out again. But the only one I got around to rewatching again was, like I said, episode 7. The best episode 7. It's better than the other episode 7, the Star Wars poster. But yeah, so I guess the basic gist of the story of Skull Island is it's set 20 years after the events of Kong Skull Island. Before the events, I don't know if it's set like during the same time period as Skull Island, the birth of Kong, because that's set in the 90s too. Maybe those storylines will converge because you have like the Brooks family and all that'll intersect, if you will. It's kind of like I said with the Monsterverse comics and how that's all going to fit in terms of continuity between this and that. I'm sure it'll be explored at some point, because there's still a lot of vagueness with this season in terms of like where it's necessarily set and like what takes place before what. They have their whole like timeline, I'm sure, figured out somewhere. But I am surprised that they set it in the 90s, if you will. I wonder, like, there's got to be like a more of a reason for it.
I think it's because in Godzilla versus Kong, Monarch has a huge presence around the world, especially on Skull Island. By that point, I think they chose the early 90s because it's like Monarch is still a secret organization. Monarch's not out in the open like it is in the later movies.
It makes you wonder if Monarch started building that dome around Skull Island earlier on. I don't know. Like there's a big disconnect.
Well, it's probably after this show when that happens, because there's no sign of Monarch at all. There's no they didn't even show the Monarch logo. They didn't name drop Monarch.
Nope.
No, Monarch is absent from the show.
Right. Unless they're like one of the characters in the side. But then again, even like Godzilla King of the Monsters established, there's other little organizations kind of out in the world want using Titans for nefarious purposes. I'll say this, I think my favorite character on the show, like not counting Kong, is Dog.
Dog?
Yes. There's a character named Dog who is the girl, Annie's. Like Annie is this girl who her ship and family like was wrecked on an island that's near Skull Island. So we come to find out there's other islands kind of like Skull Island. I'm sure a lot of creatures probably started like, because as they established, Skull Island is basically Hollow Earth come to the surface. And I think a lot of that kind of spread out to other islands nearby.
Yeah.
So Annie was this girl. She was kind of left alone on this island after like her ship crashed and all that. There was like some sort of creature that killed her dad, and her dad killed it, and it basically left her and her what she calls pet dog orphaned, if you will, and they formed a strong bond slash connection. And I always like it when people form a connection with like monsters, if you will.
Yeah.
There's like you can get a lot, you can say a lot without like any sort of dialogue at times, and they're trying to figure each other out. That's
Yeah.
always been kind of interesting to me, and I love animals and all that, like just the bond between like people and monsters. Like it's always something that's like interesting to explore in these sort of things.
Yeah. I have a theory. I have a theory in regards to Dog and Annie. I think that the creature that killed Annie's father, I think was Dog's like parent.
No, it
Mother.
was.
It was?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. I don't know, maybe I don't remember if they made that clear, but I was like their parents killed each other.
Yeah, that's she says that in the show, I believe. So
Oh, yeah?
let me see if I can pull up some of the character names, if you will, because like I said, there was Charlie, who was the main guy.
Yeah, Charlie's the main character.
And then you had his friend, whose dad also gets killed brutally by the Kraken, if you will. And then, like I said, you find Annie's mom and all that, and all these different things. You get,
Irene,
like,
yeah.
Insects. You have like crab creatures. So there's Charlie, Annie, Mike was his name. That was his friend. Cap, who was like Charlie's dad. Irene, who was Annie's mom. Then you had some other guy in there. But like I said, it's 8 episodes. It was written by Brian Duffield. I think he was the guy who also like created that movie Underwater. I don't know if you've seen that film. It's actually a pretty solid creature feature film. It has Kristen Stewart in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that one was like it kind of came out of nowhere. There was it was like one of the leftover movies from Fox when Disney bought them out, and I quite liked it. And Cthulhu even appears in it. Like they have a giant Cthulhu monster that shows up at the like kind of near the end of the movie, which I wasn't really expecting. I'm like, is that Cthulhu? And sure enough, it was. So yeah. Only animals I like are the ones I can eat. Well, that's cool, Nick.
So cattle.
So
chickens,
cattle, chickens,
pigs.
Yeah, so stuff like that. But yeah, so like I said, so it's Charlie and all that. Charlie and his dad and Mike and his dad, if you will, are just kind of they're like cryptid hunters, if you will. So it's like monster. Yeah. They're doing their own little episode of Monster Quest without the camera crew, because Charlie's dad, if you will, when he was younger, saw a monster, and he's been unable to he's been trying to look for that thing again, and kind of changed his life. Kind of like what Randa did back in
I was about Yeah, I noticed that his character and John Goodman's character have kind of the same, at least at the beginning, had the same exact intentions and like the same kind of quest.
Right. Yeah, he definitely was the Bill Randa of the group. I would like to see the Monsterverse maybe explore more with the Randas. I think the Monarch TV show is going to do that, though. I legitimately think, because we're going to get some flashback stuff, so which is something I'm looking forward to. I think it's definitely going to explore more of the Randa family, and maybe we'll meet like a young John Goodman in the Monarch TV show and like the flashback stuff. But I don't know. Like I said, that show has there's a lot of mystery with it, and that's kind of the fun for it. And I know Apple's throwing a shit ton of money at it too, so the effects will look right in line with the movies, because Apple doesn't really have any shows like that. I mean, they have their Walking with Dinosaurs stuff, but I don't really watch any other Apple stuff. They just have a ton of money and really not trying to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah, well, I know Apple is funding the new Martin Scorsese movie, and the next one he'll make after that. And those movies are pretty expensive, even though it's like Martin Scorsese fare.
Yeah, it's like $200 million for these movies, and I'm like, how are you going to see that back? You know what I mean? Is it just for the salaries of the actors? Because you don't really see that money on screen. You know what I mean? Because remember when like $100 million looked like the most big expensive movie possible? Because all of it's just like some actors in a room generally with these types of things. Is there anything really elaborate or unique about it? Is it just another mafia crime movie?
Well, the thing with Martin Scorsese is yes, DiCaprio's salary is pretty high, De Niro's salary is pretty high, Scorsese's salary I'm sure is pretty high, but I know he does period piece movies. So I
Right.
know
Okay.
it'll take
So
some money to convert an area or build sets to create a very elaborate set that takes place in a totally different decade.
mhm,
So I understand that would cost a lot of money. I
right.
understand that they have a lot of extras. And not only that, the movies are pretty long, especially like
Yeah.
The Irishman was pretty long. This new movie is going to be pretty long, so they got to pay the editor really well.
Right, right.
You
So
know,
it'll be interesting to see how
yeah,
that movie turns out. But anyway, so yeah, the Monarch TV show is going to have a lot of money thrown at it. The most expensive show that Apple's ever done. So and good, because like I said, you wouldn't
yeah,
want to given the money situations that like Warner Brothers, as we've come to find out as of late, it's probably best that it didn't go to HBO Max. Give it to somebody who has more money. Yeah, that studio is not doing so well these
that
days. I
studio
mean,
is in shambles.
they
In
are. You know what's
shambles,
going to
yeah,
save it though? Barbie comes out next month, and Barbie is going to be a
yeah.
huge hit. I think that'll be the surprise hit of the summer. To be honest, I
Maybe.
legitimately 100% think.
Oh, most definitely, most
Yeah,
definitely. That
no,
that movie and Oppenheimer
same
is like
weekend.
what a combo.
Oppenheimer's going to
Oppenheimer's
do
it's
decent.
from Universal, but it's a Chris Nolan movie.
Right, the first movie is
Yeah,
not done with Warner Brothers since like Insomnia,
yeah,
or what was before? No, no, Memento.
yeah. And that's crazy. Christopher Nolan burned his bridge with Warner Brothers, or I should
Well,
say, Warner Brothers burned their bridge with Christopher Nolan.
yeah,
Really?
after the whole like moving things to streaming and all that.
Yeah,
Even though like part of the reason they were in that predicament was like because of Nolan's like demands for Tenant. If he would have just waited like another year, it would have been
yeah.
fine. But I don't know. They gave him a lot of money for an original movie. But anyways, um, let's see. Everything wrong in my opinion. Ooh, somebody doesn't like Skull Island. Oh, the Monsterverse. I do not like the Skull Island. Does everything wrong in my opinion? Okay. Well, like I said, I've seen people who've been very positive on it. Some people mix to kind of lower because a lot of it is you do have these teen characters who kind of occupy a lot of the time. Annie is somebody who's been kind of raised with her dog. She's a little unhinged and she doesn't really quite
Yeah.
know everything because she was a young girl when she was shipwrecked, kind of left for like 10 years on her own, learning to defend herself and everything of the sorts. And then you find out later on that her mom is kind of responsible for trying to find her and all that. And
Yeah.
there's definitely some disconnect between the two of them in the show. They have to kind of learn to work on their bonds. And then you got all sorts of other crazy creatures. You have like these crustacean things that are on the beach. You have like insect monsters, dog, of course. Kong fights these weird like chameleon creatures at one point in like episode 7.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Kong very briefly fights a skull crawler.
Right. Oh, or
Yeah.
that little like alligator monster thing that's
Oh
like
yeah.
chasing the two of them.
Yeah.
That thing was fun. Like I laughed really hard when he did the belly flop and like he sees it was Mike and Charlie made it into the world like oh this is great. And then the thing looks out and then he jumps and does like a belly flop like a swan dive like this like
Yeah.
it's a swimmer. So I'm like there's a lot of nice little visual gags because with animation there's really like no limitations with it, whereas a movie would be a lot more expensive and kind of difficult to work in the CGI with the realistic backgrounds. They're allowed to kind of just play around with it. You can see more facial expressions, particularly with Kong, and you can
Mhm.
see kind of the heavier emotions he feels when he experiences loss. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going for it in that regards. Mike, of course, is a character who gets infected, if you will. I don't know what the Kraken's like stinger kind of poisons him or something.
Oh, it both poisoned and electrocuted him. So
Yeah, like that.
not only is his heart failing, he's also like slowly going through the neurotoxic process that you get whenever
Mhm.
you're bitten by anything venomous or
Yes.
poisonous.
I liked that they gave out the Lost World Jurassic Park 3 lives. They both take place on the same island, but on different parts, which gave it a chance to make school on their own rather than retry the movie. Yep, okay, that's a good point.
That's fair.
Our two leads are annoying. I know most fans like Teenage Academy, but generally I'm more tower these types of characters are written, but they never shut up. Yeah, that's true. They are kind of loud and obnoxious, but I think that's kind of the point. And then they'll eventually kind of calm down as the show goes on. And again, like I said, you got to like
Mhm.
sometimes with characters like that, you got to take a little bit to kind of win them over. Because like I said, they're just like Mike or Charlie, if you will, is all about trying to like do something different than what his dad wants him to do. He's like, hey, son, we're touring the world and we're going all over the place. This sounds way more exciting than just going to college. Where Charlie's just like, I just want to get laid.
Yeah.
That's his
he
character arc.
wants to do the college experience.
Right,
The
the
college
college
experience.
experience, the very
Yeah.
exciting college
Going to
experience.
parties, drinking,
Yeah, and
smoking
then
dope,
Mike doesn't care.
getting
He's
laid.
like, I'm having a lot of fun just doing whatever I'm doing. And then Mike loses his dad, which was a pretty violent death that we got to see with his dad literally getting
Yeah.
squished by the giant tentacle. You see the blood kind of spurt out of place. Like this show is definitely a little bit more violent than I was expecting with this because I was like, okay, this seems like it's gonna be more MonsterVerse kid friendly.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, not necessarily. Like people get eaten, they get like ripped to shreds, if you will, at times. It's not extremely violent, like it's not R rated, but it's a good PG-13 in terms of some of the violence that happens
Maybe
in this
not
thing,
even that. I think it's a solid PG.
like an 80s
Like
PG.
like an 80s PG, which I think
Yeah, so
would
exactly.
The show is certainly a fun show. It's definitely a good creature feature
Hmm.
esque kind of story. But it does have a lot of pitfalls. A lot of pitfalls.
Like when they fall into a pit, like at the
Yeah, yeah, they do. They literally fall in a pit in this show.
Yep. I hope season 2 ties in with the new Emperor. I think like there's got to be a reason that they chose this timeline. I think it's going to definitely tie into things to come because we finally got to see Kong's throne, which was I know in the Skull Island like movie concept art, but we actually get to see like an ancient temple, if you will, the Iwi. Because like before, it was led to believe like okay, ships must have just washed ashore, and that was kind of like where they put their art in that around. But we come to find on Skull Island, there's actually like a whole entire temple specifically for Kong. But again, we only got like a real taste of Skull Island. I feel like in the movie, we didn't really get more of it. We got more of it here than I think we did in the movie, if you will.
The thing about Kong's home, his palace, if you will,
Yeah.
I feel like they're taking inspiration from other sources and not just uh Kong Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Peter
if you think about
Jackson's.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, that place has a lot of unwritten lore that you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking at like the temples and the structures in this show, and I'm like, it reminds me a lot of Peter Jackson's Skull Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, in regards to of the pitfalls, I noticed our characters, as much as I like Mike and Charlie, they don't feel like 90s kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to, so okay, if they're teenagers, like older teenagers, then that means they were probably born in the 80s, right?
Right.
But they act like Gen Z people,
Yeah, there
right?
definitely is a bit of that feel with it.
Yeah, and the girl, for a girl who doesn't really know much, right?
Mhm.
All right, so she lived with her mom when
Or
she
her
was like
dad.
and her dad when she was really little, but then she loses her dad and lives almost exclusively on this island fighting with other people and other creatures
Mhm.
for about 10 years or so.
Right,
I
there's a
feel like
10-year gap.
yeah, I feel like she knows too much. Like she
Right,
seems
right.
too civilized, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like she has good clothing, she has
Yeah, like,
her
unless
hair's
she got
done, like and she still feels like a modern teenager, you know what I
right,
mean?
unless there was
Like
clothes on that boat or something, and maybe some
yeah.
hygienic products, but again, they want everyone to look kinda nice with the animation style, if you will. But, yeah, that was kinda something I was kinda questioning as I was watching, and I'm like, "Well, she seems to kinda know," because like, well, she was kinda young when a lot of stuff happened, but, I
Yeah.
mean, when you get older, you kinda figure things out, as this sort of stuff kinda goes on, if you will. But yes, like I said, we do get like I said, that's definitely one of the issues, and hopefully they'll explore more of that in the next season because the way it kind of ends, she's
Mhm.
kind of in the modern world, if you will,
Well,
and we're
like that should be good. The whole fish out of water
mhm.
sort of concept. If they follow that up on season 2, I just don't know how they're going to bridge that with Skull Island now.
Yeah,
Season 2 is just explaining the 2-week break that happened,
I don't know.
and then the cliffhanger on in season 2 is going to be picking up where we left off right here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
said, there's a lot of ambiguousness with the ending. I'm sure they'll explore it just fine because we don't know what happens with Mike and Charlie and all that. Because
Yeah.
Kong fights the Kraken at the end of it, and he is pissed off. Like this is like a
Mhm.
side of Kong we haven't seen because this is like something where he experienced a lot of loss. I also like too that the Kraken is kind of goading Kong into coming to challenge him too. Like, because like Kong's whole thing, like the reason the Kraken kind of wakes up is Kong like after fighting those chameleon creatures, like there's kind of a disconnect. So episode 7, best episode of the show, as we've established,
Yeah.
Kong, we come to find out, has a friend. She's like an unknown, like native to the island girl. She speaks a different language, but Kong understands her. They have a special bonding connection. Again, leaning into the intelligence that Kong has, because he's the only Titan that, as of now, can communicate with sign language, which was something I thought they should have done before GBK even came out. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if Kong did sign language, like as an interesting way to like showcase his character? I'm like, and then he did. I'm like, that's really really cool. So yeah, he had a special bond with this girl. Like you even see him kind of laughing and kind of playing at times. She does scold him at times, but it's definitely a Kong and like Anne type relationship in Peter Jackson's one. But it's definitely like a friendship. Like even when Kong like knows he kind of messed up, he's trying to make it up to her by like he brings her a tree with like all sorts of food on it. But she still kind of scolds him because he still kind of leaves damage. He's like, oh, like he kind of want. It's a little bit of like Minya in like Son of Godzilla, like where he's like friends with the native island girl. Kind of something like that. But then again, because of Kong's injury, he like kind of bled into like the water, which woke up the Kraken, which was slumbering deep beneath the island, if you will. And then the thing wakes up and it attacks this village and it kills Kong's friend. They do have like kind of a final moment with each other. And again, this is a really kind of sad scene too, because you do buy the relationship that these two had. It's clearly something that went on for a long time. And because of Kong's kind of anger and aggression, which led to him getting attacked and caused some tension, it inevitably like led to the deaths of all these people who were kind of along the shore. And again, it's a sad scene. Kong goes and picks her up and he takes her up to his little like lair, if you will. He's like really concerned. And then she's like in her last moment, she kind of like touches his like nose, just like my king. And then he kind of loses her and he's like really sad and heartbroken about it. And he even gives her like a burial funeral, if you will. And like he holds onto this necklace, which is like a big piece of his history, if you will, like something that like means a lot to him. And again, like you get like some sad moments with Kong where he's like really upset he lost like a friend, like somebody who meant a great deal with him. And again, seeing that and then seeing where the show where Godzilla vs Kong picks up, it adds new context to why he's as overprotective as he is with Gia, because he had somebody like beforehand. And like I said, it's an interesting, it's just, they really do add a lot of character to Kong that I wouldn't necessarily have expected at the start of the Monsterverse. Just the way he's kind of getting fleshed out. And what I do admire most about him is despite all the pain and loss, he still keeps on fighting. This is a character who's been through a lot of trauma. It's experienced like constant attacks since he was born. Basically, his parents were slaughtered, which we found out in Skull Island, The Birth of Kong, by the Skull Crawlers. And he's kind of the last of his kind, if you will. He's sad. He wants family, and he formed a connection with this human girl. It's kind of the closest he's had to members of a species. And you kind of get those. My favorite moments are just kind of the moments where it's just them bonding, or he's just kind of looking at a statue and kind of reminiscing about a time where he would have had members of a species. So he's looking for that family that he's always kind of lost. And he again found it kind of with this girl who was like a close ally of him, and kind of losing her. And he's like really sad and upset about it. Like somebody takes the necklace, which again, he kind of freaked out. And he like went like to chase Annie and them just so they could get him to fight the Kraken. And again, when Kong goes berserk at the end, when he is just like pure rage filled, like he wants this thing to suffer. Something that we didn't really like see of him in other movies, because again, it was kind of more for survival, but this was kind of a personal thing where this thing took something that meant a great deal to him. And I like that. I like what it adds to his character. And again, it's kind of like the tragic hero thing, right? You lose somebody and like he has to kind of learn from that, and it kind of changes him. So I like that aspect a lot. I think that was the strongest aspect of this season, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they kind of flesh his character out a little bit more. But we now know he can communicate with people based on this. Now it's only like a matter of like where the sign language comes in later on. But yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah. I think the show is more akin to like a Nickelodeon kind of show, like a Cartoon Network kind of show.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ben 10. I think my girlfriend said Ben 10 was something, the animation style and everything sort of reminded us of that. Which I think for a Netflix show though, I wish the animation was a little better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
I think it's fine. It looks good in some instances, but it's not. I don't think it
Right,
has
like, I
detailed.
get it. It takes place in the early '90s, right?
Mhm.
So this show does feel like kind of like an older Cartoon Network-esque show,
Yeah, I can see
but
that.
it's I at the same time, though, it's like, this is Netflix. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, I wish they had done it's animation. They could have done so much, you know what I mean?
Right, right. I still like the
Uh,
animation style, but I get where they could have like added a little bit more detail. I'm not familiar. I haven't watched
yeah.
Powerhouse's other stuff. I think they did the Castlevania series. I'm not sure how the animation was in that because I haven't seen it. But
Yeah, me neither.
yeah.
Um, what else? What else? Yeah,
Somebody brings up a good point here about I'd much rather Gia be the first human Kong forms real connection to and the first he feels the need to protect. I get that too, but I also kind of like the idea of like his first, like him kind of losing that first child, if you will, and then being overprotective with the next one. It's something I've seen in other media kind of done, but really, really haven't seen that with a giant monster before. And again, it kind of adds new context to it, why he is the way he is with something. He's kind of trying to fill that little like gap he had before. But he also like one thing that is unique with him and Gia, she did teach him sign language, and they kind of learned that
mhm,
together. So there is still a uniqueness between those two. But I mean, Kong was always a bit of a protector. We even saw in the other films, but um, again, Kong goes on his own little hero's journey too. It's really unique what they've done with Kong in this universe. They've really done a great job, I think, fleshing him out, making him his own character, his own like emotions and motivations, and
mhm.
you actually get to see him kind of grow. And again, you want to, I do want to see Kong get like his happy ending, but just shit constantly gets in the way, if you will. I'm sure the new Empire is going to really kind of test the limits of it between him and that. And again, even in Godzilla versus Kong, despite Godzilla whooping his ass and pretty badly, Kong still goes out of his way to help him, just to show like what kind of a heroic character he is. So
Yeah. Yeah, Godzilla 93 says, that he wishes that we could have got to see more Kong and more of the giant hawk.
yes, yes, because that
Now
hawk was like it's kind of a
yeah,
strange relationship with it. Like the hawk brings Kong food, and then like it protects the girl, and they just kind of have this relationship where they just stare at each other. Like it's like Kong's pet bird. I kind of love the fact that he has his own little pet. Um,
yeah,
he just puts his arm out, and the thing just like lands on his shoulder. But you get the sense that he really is the king of this thing, and all the other animals on the island are kind of looking up to him in that regards.
yeah.
So
I think where the show suffers for me is, like, they handle Kong's characterization really well, but they don't handle his part of the story, the overarching story of season 1 very well. They wait so long to introduce him,
right,
right?
right.
And then when you do see him, it's not like, you see him for like a few seconds, you know what I mean? I wish I don't know if you've seen Lost,
No, I
that
never got into
the
watching
show
Lost.
Lost, the first season, the first couple episodes of Lost, right? Where they initially crash on the island,
Hmm.
right? And they stay on the beach, but they hear noises in the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And there's like a larger monster in the woods that they think is like a dinosaur. Eventually in the show you realize it's not a dinosaur, but I feel like that would have been cool
What was
if
it?
like it was a giant polar bear
Oh.
in the show, a giant polar bear. Even though it was in the tropics,
Hmm.
it was a polar bear, right?
Yeah, I never got into Lost.
I
I hear
wish,
it didn't really end very well. But anyways, that's another discussion.
yeah, yeah, that is a whole other discussion. But
Hmm.
I wish they handled the first few episodes like they handled the first season of Lost, where
Hmm.
you know they they the beginning of the show starts as is, but once they
Hmm.
actually get to the island, they tease Kong is what they should have
Hmm.
done, because the first two episodes there's no like Kong at all. You don't
Right.
see
They
or
finally
hear
land on
him.
the island, and then there's the big
Yeah,
paw print. But again, we got to look at like a context of time. That's like 40 minutes of like a series, and then Kong shows up with like the end of the first hour, if you will, in like the third episode.
yeah,
So I mean, it's laid out a little bit differently because it is like a new TV show. I mean,
I
we don't
know,
really.
but
Again, I get what you mean, like because
I
we
wish
do
they
get one
like.
full Kong episode, which was 7, but I do want to see him more in season 2 because it takes like he does take a backseat at times. He has one episode that's fully focused on him.
Mhm.
And then episode 8, he has a large role in it. So, and he kind of appears sporadically throughout. So I think now that they kind of laid the groundwork a bit, he can appear more in the next season. Like, what is his role going to be? But again, I also like too that this thing isn't just, it's not called Kong, it's called Skull Island, and there's a lot of interesting stories you can tell within the
Yeah.
Monsterverse around different titans, different creatures, and all sorts of other things. It's a whole unique world and ecosystem, and there's just so much to explore that they really did a good job, I think, creating this like this mythos, if you will, with all like this history and background and all that. What just started out as like a simple like, okay, let's reboot Godzilla, has just turned into like this whole larger world that I would have never expected um, when I sat in the theater watching 2014 like 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
here's a good point here. Somebody's like, do we even know if the girl in her village is an Iwi? That's a good point too, because like she like her even like her skin tone was like more Caucasian looking, and she had kind of red hair. So I don't know. I don't think maybe I think she's maybe another member of the tribe, because maybe there's more than just the Iwi on Skull Island, if you will. Because again, a lot of ships have crashed there over the years, as we've established. Even when Kong fights the Kraken, there's like more boats in there, and other people maybe got lost and settled there on the island. There's again, this is also after Marlowe's time on the island, so maybe more
Yeah.
people have ended up on Skull Island since
I,
then. And
I think it's like in Kong Skull Island is treated like one big conspiracy theory.
yeah,
I feel like after 20 years go by, so many people have been on the island and then have been able to get off the island. I feel like
right.
word is starting to spread around, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as the population of the world is growing, more people end up stumbling upon the island.
Right, and we do find out what happened to
Yeah.
all the documents in that. Monarch had them pretty much like under wraps, except one guy kept one thing and
Yeah.
let it out. That's how Mike and all that kind of came into be. But yeah, look at that giant hawk there. Let's see, Godzilla, Mothra, and Kong and the Hawk. Who's your favorite? Godzilla or Kong and the Hawk? I mean, Godzilla and Mothra I have more of a connection to, but Godzilla and Mothra don't really have the friendliest dynamic. Kong and the Hawk is pretty good. Like they're definitely like friends, compadres, if you will. So yeah, we need more of Kong's story. Yep. I think the best human character in the show is Cap. I like his fascination with Skull Island, the creature in general. I truly wish he was the main character. I like his empathy for animals. Yeah, Cap was pretty good too. Even like when that Venus flytrap is eating that girl, he's so like concerned for the animal's well-being, even though he knows it had to die.
Yeah.
7-8 for a blast to watch. Then my question is, the show even needed Skull Island is destroyed. Kong doesn't even live there anymore. So what was the point of exploring a location that's dead? Well, because there is a lot to explore with, and I'm sure we'll have to wait.
Because we were only really there for one movie,
right? For whatever
overall,
reason, like I know in the original version of Godzilla vs Kong, they were trying to like drill a tunnel on Skull Island, the original opening of the movie, and then things and to plant the Orca Z or whatever down in Hollow Earth, but things went wrong there and lost a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of that movie that was kind of cut out. And like you said, Pierce, we haven't really like explored Skull Island that much because we only really had the one movie, and then we were just trapped kind of in this dome and really don't get to like explore the mythos, if you will. We get little teases of it with the Hollow Earth and the Temple of the Kongs, if you will, but there's still so much more that's kind of left worth exploring, I feel, and that's where the show kind of comes in. And again, it's not necessarily that you have to watch it, which is what I do enjoy about the Monsterverse. It's just kind of like it's everything kind of stands on its own. And a lot of it, as you could argue, is just supplemental material, but it still kind of fleshes things out a little bit more. If you want more of the wider context of the universe and the story, then check it out. So yeah, and again, somebody says, I hope we get a second season. Second season's already being made. They already confirmed that. I think it's just like what they did with Pacific Rim the Black. They already worked on 2 seasons worth of stuff. They're just splitting it into 8 episodes each. That's my theory.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite aspect of the show? Like what's something you want to see like going forward? Like what's things that you think they should flesh out some more?
Well, I like Annie. I think she is the best character. I think Dog is also a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing those 2 characters doing stuff.
Yeah,
fighting. Like that's all great. She's like Indiana Jones,
right? She just like wants. Yeah. She enjoys killing things too.
She enjoys killing things, but she swings around. She knows how to use weapons. She does all like martial arts and shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know how she knows how to do all that, but she does it. She's really
well. We just have to kind of like buy that a lot of stuff happened in the 10 years where she's just been constant state of attack. Her and Dog have just formed a special bond. And again, there's other things too. I like the little Easter egg where like the guy, what was it? Charlie goes down in like the ant pit. So remember when Marlo was just like, "Oh, it's a
Yeah.
fucking ant." We finally got to see the ants.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that too. And then he finds like an old pirate sword. So there's
Yeah.
like I said, I like little moments like that because it lets you know that a lot of other people have ended up in this place and it just has not turned out well. I like I said, there's so much I want to
Yeah.
see explored. I want to know more about the temple, what's going on there with the Iwi tribe. Just there's just so much mythology in that. I need like a whole like Monsterverse like lore book that's just everything that explores every aspect of the series. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like a
yeah.
companion piece
Yeah. Yeah.
tells you all the creatures, tells you the background of things, almost like the Bible, if you will, of the Monsterverse.
Yeah.
I'm sure the writers in that have something like
They might
that.
have
With
something. A fan might be working on one for all we know.
yep, yeah. There's so much there. And
There are
should
other
we?
homages that
Oh yeah, that reminds me too. Her name's Annie
yeah, yeah, and
Darrow.
Darrow.
They had the log
And
scene kind of tribute in there where we get to Kong's temple, and there's just that big
yeah.
like wooden bridge, if you will. That was clearly like a nod to that. And the upcoming tabletop book. Yeah, that's right. There is a tabletop book. I need to get that thing because there's a lot of supplemental Monsterverse material that kind of goes under the radar at times. Um, but the tabletop thing is kind of the official canon, so it explains different things. So we'll have to. I'll definitely
Yeah.
need to be picking that up. There is a new Monsterverse omnibus coming out with an additional, never before released story.
Yeah.
So I got to pick that thing up too, because I do have all the MonsterVerse graphic novels, but I always have room for more. I haven't picked up
Yeah.
the Titan anthology one, which is just 2 graphic novels that I already have, but I'm just gonna pick up everything MonsterVerse. I even have the art books too.
Hmm. I wish in the show, I wish Kong would fight like different creatures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, because
Like in Godzilla and King Kong versus Godzilla, the 1962 film, Kong fights a giant octopus.
he fights something like that again,
Yeah,
but a little bit different.
he fights the Meyer squid in uh
Skull
Kong
Island,
Skull Island,
and he
right? And
eats
now
it
he
too, which is a tribute to Old Boy, the way he
yeah,
eats it.
and then now in this movie he's fighting the Kraken, which essentially acts as an octopus squid-esque monster.
Yeah, but it's got
It's
like a
like
bird head and all that too. It's kind of a
yeah,
strange
it's
looking design where it's just like, what would this have looked like in live action? It's got
yeah,
some cool abilities with like the bioluminescence lights and the electricity abilities and why it would need electricity at the bottom. Oh, again, who knows? Like electric eels and that exist.
yeah. I mean that's true. They do add new features, but it's still like it's still a squid like still octopus like creature. I
Mhm.
need them to grow out of that. I need them. I need
Right.
Kong to
Well,
fight other things.
yeah, you could say this is a Titan. I'm going to call it a Titan because it's huge. The thing was just massive. I love the fact that it taunts Kong too, as if
Yeah,
come and get me, because Kong's like because they're both like because the thing knows if it's on land, Kong is going to win, but Kong knows if
it
he's in the
threw
water, he's in a
Kong a sperm whale.
yeah. I remember watching them like
Yeah,
there be whales, Captain. What is this like Fantasia 2000 with the flying whales? You just see this whale
yeah,
being thrown in the sky like it kind of reminds me when Kong throws the tree in Skull Island. At the
yeah,
helicopters. But yeah, this thing throws a whale like right at him, like, here you go, bitch. Come and get me. Because like it and Kong just hates this thing because like I said, it killed like his best friend.
yeah,
Like something he was protective of. Um and it just he goes like ruthless. Like remember when Godzilla just went ruthless in Godzilla vs. Kong, where he just like went fully animalistic? Like Kong in this one, like he is just like he just beats the thing's already dead. He's still kind of punching it. You see the like the ragefulness that's like within him, just like unleashed, like fully unhinged at one point. Because this was something that took something very personally from him.
yeah,
So I'm curious if we'll get that aspect of Kong in the next MonsterVerse movie because I mean the villain is the red ape thing. I guess it's called the Scar King, from what I've heard, and like there's other monsters in there. I think it'll probably be like a Caesar and type Koba, Caesar and Koba type dynamic, from like as we've seen in like Planet of
from
the
Planet of
Apes.
the
Maybe,
Apes.
yeah. So, but a little bit different, which I hope it is. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out because Kong is finally going to see another member, like another ape, like member of his species, but we'll see like what kind of relationship that they have. So Though besides this one, I do love Monsterverse. I do want more Godzilla characters and explore more. Yes, that's the thing. That's the thing that's kind of. I know the Godzilla's not going to appear in this thing because I saw like one of the makers of the show said they didn't really have access to him for this particular show, which is okay. Let Kong and that we can explore Skull Island and all that and other things within the Monsterverse because Godzilla's going to be in the Apple TV Plus show anyways, so we can explore him more there. But I do agree we need to add more characterization for him, explore more things with him. King of the Monsters did this the best. And we have my favorite scene in the Monsterverse, which is that final moment between Serizawa and Godzilla, the goodbye old friend scene, because it's like it's a tender moment. You get like the recognition between them, if you will. So like I said, King of the Monsters did more interesting stuff with Godzilla. Like GVK, he's just a dick, and he's just kind of having fun with it at times. Even though I think he has the most screen time in that movie, his presence isn't there as much as in the other two Monsterverse films he was in. Because 2014, he's like has this foreboding presence throughout, even though he's in kind of the least. And then King of the Monsters, he's really the focal point. And Godzilla versus Kong, he's kind of like he's secondary in the movie. Like he's still like antagonistic at first, and he definitely gets a lot of scenes. We do get to see him laugh, so I mean, if we can see him laugh, we can see him emote in other capacities too. I still can't believe we have a movie where Godzilla just like belly laughs, like he's like, ha, 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 ha.
It's unfortunate. Godzilla versus Kong. I don't know if it's of something Toho told them to do, but in the opening credits of Godzilla versus Kong, they tell you during the credits that Kong had killed everyone, all the other Titans, or he had defeated them already.
Yeah, he defeated like the bad ones.
He was crowned king already in King of the Monsters, right?
Yeah, Godzilla
and he had earned the respect of all the Titans. And then during the opening credits of Godzilla versus Kong, he killed everyone apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I think there definitely is a disconnect between movies. And again, it could have been in the original cut of the movie where they trimmed a lot of stuff down.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because like I said, King of the Monsters set up a lot of stuff that I feel like needs to be explored in future stuff. Like I said, the whole rival organization with like Charles Dance's character, Alan Jonah. What happened with that guy? Like, are we just ever going to see that followed up in some capacity? Like, I'd like a graphic novel or something that tells me the story. Because there's so much more like with these rival organizations to sort of explore. I don't know if like the next movie will do that, or maybe the Monarch TV show will. I just need it explored in something, maybe a graphic novel that lets us know, hey, this is what happened to this character. Because like Alan Jonah just is kind of like disappears. Like that's just a lingering plot thread. It's like, what happened to that guy? I don't know. It feels like they're like with Wingard stuff, it kind of ignores like the previous movies. It kind of like more stands on its own. I mean, like things did happen. I mean, we have the Ghidorah skull and all that other stuff, and like some recurring characters, but it mostly is kind of standalone, trying to tell its own new story. So yeah, Jonah did sell the skull to Apex. There you go. Went to sleep. So like he fought a bunch of them in some capacity. I need to go back and reread Dominion. I haven't read it in a while. Same with Kingdom Kong. Like those are ones that I haven't like reread too often.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and I probably should do some videos on those ones. I mean, I cover comics on the channel. Why am I not covering this stuff? I only covered like Aftershock, and many years ago, like I even said, even before they fully announced like Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm like, this looks like a King Kong Easter egg, if you will. So maybe they'll lead to something. And then eventually they announced the movie. So that was kind of a cool thing that happened. But yeah, so it'd be technically Godzilla Awakening is the start of the Monsterverse because it released before the movie.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so more things to explore, more creatures, obviously. What was the deal? Because Charlie, if you will, he was riding the back of Dog with Annie, and he jumps off to kind of give her more of a chance to keep running. I'm surprised Kong was not able to catch them, though. That's kind of like one of my little, you probably could have done something with that. The fact that he couldn't catch her right away. But even then, Kong still saves him because he does care about, people. He saw the bond that the two of them had, like reminded of one he had with the human. So yeah, you could do something there. I'm drawing a blank what I was about to say.
Does Mike live?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. Does
The-
Mike live? Does Charlie? Because Charlie, like, he's stopped by like people who are like kind of in disguise. If you will, like, looks like people on tribe. They're
yeah,
like, "Why did you do that to Kong?" And then it's just like we kind of cut away. It's like, who are these people?
they might be the Iwis.
Right? They speak
They
English,
might
but then
be.
again, some Eevee were established to have spoken English in Skull Island, Birth of Kong.
Mhm.
I don't know. Well, because like these the people who work on the series definitely have to have had knowledge of the MonsterVerse and the lore in that. But yeah, okay, here we go. This is the big one. Forget Mike. Is Dog alive though? Dog has to be alive. Like Dog was my favorite character on the show. Because he was just kind of like he was just a big puppy dog, and like he would
Yeah.
ruthlessly kill people, but he had this tenderness with somebody.
Unfortunately, dog can't swim. It seems.
Yeah, but he was said to have swam like miles away, anyways, which was like how he ended up on the island or something. Um,
I guess I don't know. He seemed to be struggling to swim at episode 8.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
a lot of stuff happened off camera, if you will. Um, and Godzilla's indifferent. Yeah, Godzilla's indifferent. Kong definitely has like see, Godzilla is more about the planet itself. He cares about. Kong's more about humanity. That's kind of where their like differences. Godzilla doesn't really have anything that he like. He cares about the planet. And his job is to kind of keep things in check, and when other monsters go like out of balance, so he does care in some surface level, but it's not to the extent of Kong, if you
Yeah.
will. So I do want to know like what they're gonna do with Godzilla's character in the next thing. So Annie killed Dog. No, she didn't kill Dog. Dog's her friend. She was like concerned for him. Yeah,
Yep.
Annie and Darrow. What if her last name is Darrow? Because we
That'd
didn't get her
be
last his name, did we?
so far in Darrow is not actually canon at all in the Monsterverse, so they could totally take that opportunity.
Yeah, maybe her name is Annie Darrow, and this is kind of the MonsterVerse's like new take on that character. You know what? I actually think that would be kind of cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's make her reveal her last name to be Darrow. I think that would work. I think that'd be a nice little nod Easter egg. She has her own Beauty and Beast thing with her and Dog, but like it's a different relationship between her and Kong. I also like too that we dropped the Beauty and Beast thing. And it's just kind of like Kong is more of a protector, like he just kind of carries. He's more like a parent uh,
Yeah.
to different humans and that. So I like that. I really like that aspect that they've done with Kong. I think that's one thing that this universe improved. I will say this: the MonsterVerse has done the best job with Kong's characterization and kind of fleshing him out and making him really 3 dimensional. Because he was the lead character in Godzilla versus Kong, like he legitimately was the
Yeah.
protagonist, which was really kind of unique. Because usually, like the monsters kind of take a backseat at times, but with Kong now able to kind of communicate and he goes on his own little hero's journey. Granted, you have a lot of other factors in that movie, but he's like he actually goes on a hero's journey, which with for a giant monster is something rather unique. And there's so much like potential where you could explore more of it because they do try to treat the monsters like human characters, if you will, with that significance and
Yeah.
nuance and importance, which we like.
Hello, Sean. Did I lose? Did I lose you? I might have lost you, Sean. Wow. Welcome.
Wi-Fi is like down. I really apologize, chat. It literally just crashed in the middle of this thing. One's like a hotspot right now. So we're back. I don't know how long that delay was. It just died in the middle of it. So what a bunch of horseshit. So like I said, I'm using my phone.
Who's your provider?
Wow, that's what they call themselves, but it's such a pain in the ass. Like literally, like it's kind of been doing this the past few days. It's all paid off and all that, but like it just like late at night somehow it's like it just kind of randomly cuts out. No explanation. I don't know why, but yeah, we're back. A YouTube story, exactly. I don't know like where I left off because like we were cut out for like 5 minutes at least, and I was just getting so pissed off. I'm like, so I'm just gonna stay on my phone for a hotspot for right now, and that's what's gonna be like just what a bunch of horseshit. I was so mad too, Pierce. It just in the middle of it, I was like, oh, I was swearing up a storm just now. I'm like, God damn it, son of a bitch! What the fuck, Wi-Fi? I'm in the middle of a stream. You cut out on me now. Why? But yeah, so I'm gonna leave this comment here. We're back. A YouTube story. I do love that. I do love that comment there. But yeah, where did we leave off before things kind of like cut off?
We were. I think we were close to wrapping up. I don't know. You were in the middle of a thought.
God, like
I was kind of getting there.
I don't know when. So like, okay, so we cut off for like.
What did you do to anger the Monsterverse gods?
I don't know. Apparently, I pissed one of them off pretty good or something. Wait, I'm gonna like the last image of me is like frozen. Like I can look at it on my phone, if you will. You can kind of see it's like and then it just cuts out. Let's see what the last thing I said was. Like it's just you on there, Pierce. You're just kind of like looking. Let's see if I can find the last thing I was saying. Yeah. I froze for like. But he actually goes on a hero's journey, which for a giant monster is something rather unique. Yeah, okay. Then I was talking about Kong's hero's journey, and then the fucking stream just crashed. What a piece of shit. But anyways, so yeah, apparently I angered the Monsterverse gods, but you know what? That's not going to stop me. I'll find another way. That's what hotspots are for on phones. So, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It is made by the guy who made WandaVision, and I wasn't a huge fan of WandaVision. But you know what? He's not the only one involved in it. There's other creatives involved with the show. But you know what? It has one thing going for it that's a fact. Kurt Russell.
That's true.
Know, Kurt Russell makes everything better. Literally, it could be a terrible movie or something. Kurt Russell automatically adds 1 star. It's just a fact. Every single thing he's done, he it's the 1 star is simply for him. He can make a brief appearance, but like I just think it's cool. Kurt Russell's in like a Godzilla project. That to me just like excites me, if you will.
Well, Kurt Russell's no stranger to monster movies. I mean, he was in The Thing.
Yep. So Monsterverse doesn't want Kong to have... No, Kong's had his hero's journey. That was Godzilla versus Kong was his hero's journey, Tevya. Did Stranger Things will be in the Godzilla series. Yeah, and they're going to have a lot... And like a lot of those people, I think NPC and that who did the VFX for Godzilla vs. Kong is going to work on this year. So a lot of the people who worked on the movies are going to work on the series. And the series is going to have a lot of money behind it. Because they had that dinosaur show on Apple TV that has really good VFX. So they're definitely throwing money out for this Apple thing. They want it to look good, and Apple doesn't really have any big IPs on their stream, despite how much money Apple has. I mean, they have a lot of my money for the iPhone. So, yeah. Should be good effects-wise. I love Kurt. Yeah, like, how can you not love Kurt Russell? Favorite Kurt Russell movie? You know what? My favorite Kurt Russell movie is actually Captain Ron. Really? It's a strange... Like, I love Big Trouble in Little China, love The Thing, but Captain Ron's one I have a soft spot for. Yeah, like Kurt Russell is just awesome in everything he's in. So, like, one of his good, like, I mean, I know he's good buddies with John Carpenter. Is also a huge Godzilla fan too. I wonder if John Carpenter will watch the series. So, Escape from New York. Yeah, that's what. Forget Escape from New York. Let's talk about Escape from L.A.
Oh no, we can't talk about that.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but it's like really over the top goofy.
Yeah, I really like his movie Overboard. If I don't know if you've
Oh
seen it,
yeah,
it's a
I have
romantic
seen
comedy,
Overboard.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of
it's
crazy
kind of
when you
messed
think
up,
about
but
like
it's
what
but it's
it kind of is
yeah.
messed up, but because those two like work so well, I have seen Overboard plenty of times. That's one my family would always watch. But like I said, Kurt
Yeah.
Russell, he could do it all. Like he could do drama, he could do series, he could action. Kurt Russell just makes everything better. I agree, 100%. This. Nick Cage in the MonsterVerse. Nick Cage is a huge Godzilla fan. Like Nick Cage loves Godzilla and monster movies. Why is he not in the MonsterVerse? Next movie, Nick Cage, leader of Planet X. Book it.
Nick Cage doing the mocap.
Hey, if we can get Nick Cage as Superman in The Flash, we can get Nick Cage in the MonsterVerse. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, Nick
Well,
Cage
how
is
about that?
everything. Yeah, like I said, I am a huge Nick Cage fan. He's like Renfield. That movie was great. Mostly, like I laughed really
You
hard
liked
because of Nick
Renfield?
Cage and just yes. Did you see it?
I did not see it, but
Oh, Renfield was hilarious.
really
Oh, Renfield was
the,
like the movie gets so
the
violent. There's really a
trailers.
part where like
The trailers
it's
make
when
it
it's
look
like when it's
so
Nick Cage.
weird.
It is funny as hell. Like Nick Cage and like Renfield themselves. When it's focused on that, it's really good. There's kind of another side story that's about like some drug like family or whatever. That's not quite as interesting. It ties together in a way, but it's not as good as like the relationship between Renfield and Dracula. And like it's just an abusive relationship. Renfield at one point rips a guy's arm off and then throws it like a javelin spear and it stabs somebody. I'm like, this is my kind of movie. So
I feel that,
have him be the head of Monarch. Yes, you know what? Let's make Kurt Russell the head of Monarch. Because originally I know it was supposed to be unfortunately Lance Reddick, but he passed away.
You might be talking about Nick Cage.
Oh,
Nick Cage is the
okay,
head
yeah.
of Monarch.
Do Pacific Rim with Nick Cage. It kind of sucks. The Pacific Rim IP, like the second movie, just was not very good, and that to me is one of the most disappointing movies I've ever sat through. Was Pacific Rim Uprising. Because I really wanted to love it. Like, I really do. The final battle is kind of cool, but it's not a movie I can go back and really rewatch.
I watched it with my friends in high school, and I was like 16 or something like that. And we were like, yeah, and we were like, wow, that was kind of bad.
Yeah, it
kind of bad.
Just like what they did to Mako and all that, and just Charlie Day
Yeah.
is having sex with a kaiju brain in his own weird kinky way, which just that seems fitting for Charlie Day. I just remember like watching it in the theater, like, what the hell is going on with this thing? Chris Pratt MonsterVerse? No, Chris Pratt's just. I don't think he'll ever join the MonsterVerse. Like Chris Pratt's got like enough IPs. He's got like once one goes away, he jumps on another one. Lego Movie, Jurassic, Marvel, Mario. Yeah, like he has like everything. Like he has the best agent in the world. How he keeps getting all these gigs. I don't know what's up with my headphones. Hang on, let me fix this. Now everything's all staticky. I don't know if it's just my connection or whatever. Just do I sound okay on your end?
I mean, I hear static, but you're not like you don't sound bad. Like you sound normal. It's just the static in the background.
Yeah, I'm hearing all the static, and I'm trying to like figure out what the deal is. I don't know if it's mine. I had to kind of lift my microphone up like this so it like prevents the static. I don't know what the deal is. It just keeps. Is it better now? Okay,
yeah,
it sounds better now. I don't know why, but like sometimes with USB ports, like the cables, they get all staticky for some reason.
Yeah. You're throttling too much power through it.
That's right. I got like more power as like Christopher Walken's Max Shrek Max Zorin, I should say, Max Shrek. Boy, he played more than one Max. Like I don't know. You ever see A View to a Kill? It's a James Bond movie. It's the last of the Roger Moore ones. Best Bond song, but like Christopher Walken plays the bad guy, and he like flies around this giant blimp, and he's like constantly like yelling, he's like more power, and I was just thinking that I don't know, like we reference a lot of movies, like we watch all sorts of stuff. I mean, you watch literally cinematic trash.
Dude,
the biggest winners from Godzilla and Kong is
this. I got like a whole shelving unit full of like 80% garbage.
Oh, fantastic! I respect the hell of it. I need to get more myself. Like I mean, I have all sorts of different. I mean, you could see like I have my Jurassic collection here. I have my monster movies kind of over there. I got a shelving unit over here. I got a shelving unit upstairs, and then I got spread throughout. I feel like now like it's kind of hard for me to find like things that I want to get in terms of collection stuff. Like I just feel like when I was younger it was like more exciting. Now I'm just like if I see something, okay, I'll just add to my collection for the next series. But like I need more Criterion, like I need more trashy stuff like you have. Like I need give me the garbage. I need more of that stuff.
The thing is that like I live in an apartment like for college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have no space like at all for like anything. You know what I mean? You live in like a house, right? By yourself, right. I assume. Yeah. So you have pretty much free reign to just make your own video store in there. But yeah, if you want to get good stuff, like cinematic trash per se, but like good trash, then I recommend getting stuff from like Arrow Video.
Yep, I have the camera set from Arrow. I do want to pick up that Boggy Creek movie that you reviewed.
Yeah, they just put it. They just announced the 4K, and that disc will have special features. The Blu-ray that I have has no special features.
Well, the 4K will also have a Blu-ray copy too. So, what is this thing?
Sure.
Though your thoughts on what I said about Godzilla and Kong, we get some areas I just pointed out. Godzilla and Kong is neither will back down from a fight and have the willpower to see things through to the end. Their willpower is nearly on par. Yeah, like I said, Godzilla and Kong fight till the very end. Although Kong, like, kind of like smartly. Well, I mean, Kong refuses to bow, but when he's out, he's gonna like he'll take the L to recover. Like in Godzilla vs Kong, like when he was pretty much beaten, he's like, I better play dead here because like Kong's smart in that regards. He knows he can't win a fight when he's at that much of a disadvantage. Like there's just no way. So he'll have to like strategize for later. But like he refuses to quit. But he kind of like, I mean, technically that is kind of quitting, but it's a strategic play because he knows he has no odds of winning. Like when he was at the Tasman Sea fight, like he knows, okay, it's over, right? He's not going to win this one. No matter like he doesn't have, he's not an aquatic creature. Godzilla just has the best of both worlds. He can literally fight in the ocean perfectly fine. He can fight on land. Or as Minya says in Godzilla's Revenge, he's strong underwater. So hope we get the Wingard cut one day. Yeah, I hope we get so too.
We'll never get it. I'm like
Red Cage.
See it right now. Yeah, we'll never get it.
I just want those deleted scenes.
We're still waiting on the deleted scenes from 2014. It's been 10 years.
That's almost true. Where is the Akira Takarada scene?
Yeah.
Where is it? People like remember we were like, oh, we're gonna get an extended cut of the movie. Never fucking happened. Maybe next year, because it is the 10th year anniversary. Like, and plus with the monster, you know what I don't like about a lot of the Monsterverse box sets lately? They seem to like they keep ignoring 2014 for whatever reason. Like they'll have 3 movies, but they won't include like all 4. I think that's really dumb. Charlie Day in the Monsterverse. No, Glenn Howerton in the Monsterverse.
No,
Dennis Reynolds in the Monsterverse. Yes,
no.
I mean I'm thinking Always Sunny, and Dennis is my favorite character on that show because he is just completely unhinged.
Bro, the Dennis system, Yes,
that's
Dennis is.
I haven't watched every episode. There's he is tools. I need my tools.
It's because of the implication. Because of the implication. That's so messed up.
2 wars. Oh man. Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito could be One thing I'd love to see: the Titans change human society. There must be Titan fire drills in the Monsterverse schools. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I think maybe the Monarch TV show is going to really kind of explore more of that because the movies don't necessarily have the time to dive into all that stuff, but with the show you kind of can. Those lead scenes are definitely not leaving the Legendary War Brothers vault anytime soon. I'm going to break in and steal that. I'm going to steal the Batgirl movie. I'm just going to take all these like deleted movies, if they will.
Just hold the CEO hostage.
Like the AVP anime. That's right. Apparently there is an Alien versus Predator anime that was finished and they're just not releasing it.
There's a Batgirl movie that they're not releasing, right?
Yep, that movie was shot fully.
It's
they're not
100%
tax
done, right? Yeah, it's
they need
stupid.
Post-production's not done, but it's all shot. So I think maybe they'll have like a 1 or 2 reshoots or whatever, like days or whatever, just kind of tweak a few things. But the editing, like they just started editing. That's what and when you start a project at editing, the initial result is going to be far from the final result. You know what I mean? Like it takes time to really kind of flesh something out, get the sound effects and all that other end, the finalized VFX, if you will. Because like without it, it's going to look off.
Yeah, Warner Brothers merging with Discovery was probably the one of the worst business deals I've ever seen in the movie industry.
My gosh, it's truly been bad. Like, because like they go from AT&T to Discovery. Like, why are they even buying them? Like, I'm surprised Comcast didn't just buy them, like Universal, and they just because Universal and Warner Brothers kind of.
The problem is that David Zaslav, who was I believe he was the original Discovery CEO, so now he becomes CEO of the whole thing, Warner Brothers and Discovery.
Right.
The problem is that Discovery, most of their stuff are reality TV shows.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He is not a movie guy.
The whole reason why reality TV shows even survived at all was because of the original writer's strike in 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the writer's strike happens and reality TV shows took off because they didn't need to write anything. It was reality TV.
Right.
So here comes Discovery.
Monsterverse Godzilla documentary, No Humans. Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting too if they did like a fun documentary type series. HBO Max is the best, and then having like I said, HBO Max changing their name to Max is the single dumbest thing I've ever like. HBO is the brand, right? That's what people recognize, and you're just calling it Max. What is this goofy son? Oh, yup, morning son. Huh? Like Max Goof streaming service. Why not call it Warner Max if you're combining the two?
Oh my gosh. HBO Max.
And plus, they got rid of like the hubs on the side and all.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. Now, HBO Max was my favorite service, and now like
it was mine
the new
too.
app,
and
it looks so bland now and not as organized.
Right, all the
as
hubs
HBO
are gone. Like,
it's
all the crappy reality shows that nobody like. You could have just dumped the Discovery lineup onto the HBO Max. Like, I don't understand who thought let's greenlight the name Max. Just keep the HBO thing is the brand. Just keep HBO Max and dump all that Discovery stuff onto it. That's all you had to do. You could still have all the content on there. You just kept the name the same, or call it Warner Max, right?
Warner Max. That would have been fine.
This is one. Yeah, Warner Max would have been fine. Do you think we'll get a Godzilla Zero trailer when the countdown on Toho Twitter in 2 weeks? I think we might, because we're only like 3 or 4 months out from that movie dropping. I know the rumored title is Godzilla Zero, and honestly, I think they kept cell phones off the set of that movie too. I think it's gonna be like a period piece, which
they said it's supposed to take place during World War II.
Even better. Like you know what, a period piece Godzilla movie actually sounds exciting. I'm actually I did a comic book review like this past week. It was Godzilla There Be Dragons, Here There Be Dragons, and it's set in the 1500s, so it's like a pirate themed Godzilla comic.
Yeah.
So the first issue dropped,
awesome.
But I'm like, right. So like the first issue is kind of just like basically like drunk Jack Sparrow explaining like, oh, there's like a Monster Island, gold, and all that stuff, and then you have pirates, and then you have Godzilla. It's issue 1's kind of a setup issue, but that sounds exciting. That's like an interesting take on it that we haven't had before. So I mean, only issue 1's out, so you can check that out. That maybe leaked Godzilla Statue for Zero looked epic. I haven't been looking into Godzilla. Honestly, with Godzilla Zero, I want to go in more surprise. I want to know it like as little as possible going into it if I can. Like I'll watch the trailer and I'll talk about it. But like to me, it's like it's gonna be like a nice surprise, right? Like that's where the fun will come in.
Yeah.
I'll have to see much of a short film, at least 10 minutes showing Godzilla childhood was like, I think Godzilla X Kong the New Empire should have flashbacks to the Titan War. I would love to see that. What do you think, Pierce? Do you think we should get flashbacks ancient times, like maybe a young Godzilla on the battlefield.
Well, the thing is that when in the hype leading up to Godzilla versus Kong, we were all talking about how I believe Michael Dougherty even said something about uh, making a movie where it's just Godzilla taking place during prehistoric times.
Yeah, I like I
Right.
said, even if you don't do like a full movie, like a comic, or I just
Yeah.
like some flashbacks to the Titan War.
Yeah. A movie with just Godzilla stuff. There's no humans, no nothing, just a straight up prehistoric epic.
Yeah, that could be
That
cool.
it start a whole new genre, just a prehistoric epic. There you go.
You know what? I'd like an animated Godzilla film done in the vein of Land Before Time. Yeah, hear me out. Hear me out. Like the first Land Before Time. I even though Land Before Time 2 was my favorite in that series, I have a soft spot for it. Like the first one was like really dramatic. Like you can have the monsters talk, and I'd like make Minya this like or the son of Godzilla kind of the lead character in that, and just kind of navigating this Titan world, if you will. I don't know. Like I think that could be an interesting idea. Doing the Land Before
Yeah.
Time approach, because like when somebody says you can't do that, it's impossible. It makes you just like want to see it more, right?
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see Japanese Godzilla a few months later with the Monsterverse film. Hey, you know what? It is what it is. We had 2 Japanese Godzillas back to back. Toho needs to impress us with this next thing, because the last movie they did was the anime trilogy, and we know how that turned out.
I don't really I mean, it's Godzilla, but I refuse to consider it a Toho property because it's really Polygon Pictures that was responsible for the anime trilogy. And I
Man,
was like,
I have tried. I have tried. It's not even available on Blu-ray here in the States. Like, I want to just have it just to put on my shelf for collection completion purposes. That and the Shinkelian movie, which apparently crosses over Godzilla, Evangelion, and something else. That's with the Snow Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like I said, but there's like that movie that series isn't like available anywhere to stream, which is ridiculous. You have all these like I don't know, like it should be on Crunchyroll or something. But Singular Point I
yeah,
liked. It was very heavy with the techno science babble. Beautiful looking animation, really good use of Jet Jaguar. But sometimes like the sciencey dialogue just gets so excessive, and I'm like, what the hell is this going to be on the next test? I wish they would just simplify things a little bit more. I'm like, I'm not a quantum physics person. I don't understand what you're talking about half the time. Sometimes I feel like things get kind of lost, and like even like Shin Godzilla, like just got to the point where I'm like, okay, enough of these boardroom scenes. Can we just get to something?
yeah,
I get why they're there, and I get the reason for it. It's supposed to be like a send up of like the slow reaction time of the Japanese government, if you will. But there came a point where it was like after boardroom scene 500, I'm like, can we put these people in other situations? It's not exciting when everyone's just stuck in a boardroom, right? For a
yeah.
while. But anyways, yeah, that's just me. Want to show in the same style as Primal. Yeah, like I said, that a show or an animated movie told like that could be interesting. Primal, as we see Godzilla grow up as he fights constant wars and sees species fades, or like even a short film, like a 10-minute short film, like animation style, like the history of Godzilla, if you will. Like how he kind of was like molded into the king of the monsters. You do without any dialogue, 10 minutes. People, it's like kind of like what Fantasia was, where just like segments with music and that in the background. I think you could tell an interesting story in that capacity. Like even if it's just like an animated film, strictly for the Monsterverse or something, or like a half-hour short film or whatnot, with really breathtaking looking animation that tells Godzilla's story, like just a standalone thing. I think that could be pretty cool. Hatsune Miku cross racing Kelly, she's one of the main pilots. Laugh out loud. Yeah, who is Hatsune Miku? I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah, Shin Kelly like crosses over all this stuff. From what I've gathered, I can't really like find like a dub of the show, or I don't think it's on Crunchyroll or like even Funimation, which I don't get it. Like you have these like popular IPs that would actually like get a lot of views here stateside, but they just don't do anything with it. It's like they're short films. They like take them off the internet for whatever reason. Like why? Right? Like the Godzilla short films. Toho does a lot of
Well,
confusing things.
Japan, I mean, Japan is kind of a bit of a closed society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they already
Especially when it
released it.
comes to
Like,
their popular culture. You know
I
what
don't
I
know.
mean?
Like, it is what it is sometimes. Um, but yeah. Anyway, Skull Island. So what are like your kind of like final thoughts on the series as a whole? What do you want to see mostly in season 2? Did you enjoy it? Like I said, it was 8 episodes. It's a breeze. There's some good stuff in there for sure. Some cool like Kong beating the
Yeah.
hell out of the Kraken was pretty sweet.
The show is fine. It's inoffensive. It's you know it's okay. It's missing a lot that we would have liked to see, but there's definitely room for improvement in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It works wonders for Kong's characterization.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the animation style, even though it's kind of cheap, it works fine if you're looking at it as kind of it takes place in the 90s and you're watching a kind of a 90s TV show. You think of it
Right.
that
Right.
way, then you're big chillin'. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited for season 2. I'm curious to see
Looking forward to
how
season
the
2.
story
I wonder
plays
when
out.
season 2 will drop. Do you think it drops by the
Probably
end of this year, early beginning next
no,
year?
maybe yeah, maybe around March or maybe sometime in the summer next year.
I think probably they'll drop it.
Bef-
New
before
Empire. It's got to
Godzilla.
drop before New
Yeah, yeah,
Empire.
yeah.
I don't know when the season.
That's what I'm
It's going to
thinking.
be a few months between. I would assume probably maybe they drop it in January because that's kind of a dead time, anyways. Kind of get the hype machine going. People are
Yeah.
looking to comics. I think January would probably be like the smart bet, or maybe because like the Monarch TV show is going to come out next. I assume that'll be their next part of this phase, if you will. And how it's all going to tie together because like with these different MonsterVerse things, it seems to be going back a bit. Even the
Mhm.
working like the on-set title for Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire was Origins, right? Like that was the title they were using when they were shooting the movie. So it seems like we're going back in time with this next theme of the MonsterVerse. So I wonder what the next
Yeah.
phase will be because this is like phase 2 we're in right now. So phase 1 we had the 4 movies. Phase 2, if you will, 2 series and a movie. And then what do we do next? We got to go to the future. We got to bring in new stuff, aliens,
Yeah.
and all
I
that.
think
And that's just kind of
the
where
problem is that I think the show came out a little too late because I remember they announced the show like a long freaking time ago, right? I even forgot that the show was even gonna be made at all because I hadn't heard a
yeah,
single
the
thing
show
about
is
it
like
for like a
we
solid
waited
2 years.
forever. Like
Yeah, I think it
yeah,
should have come out before Godzilla versus Kong, right? You know what I mean? I feel
well, it was
like
announced
because
like they announced it afterwards because it wasn't like they wanted to see how the MonsterVerse does before they move into like expanding it a bit. Because like I mean
yeah,
we're gonna get a lot of stuff and then within the next we're like less than a year away from the next movie, assuming it doesn't get delayed. Um, which I don't think it will be necessarily. I guess they were showing stuff at like a CinemaCon type presentation over the weekend, and they're already having test screenings for the movie. We know this
yeah.
based on some of the stuff that's kind of come out. I'm not going
You
to
know what's
fully go into
crazy?
that stuff.
The new stuff they've made so quick. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know if maybe I'm just not understanding the process, but it seemed like Godzilla King of the Monsters took a long time to get made.
Right.
It took 5 years for that movie to come out and it got delayed like twice. It's right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be
And then
2018 originally.
yeah, and then Godzilla versus Kong got delayed quite a bit. And then so now they were pumping out this new one so quickly.
Well, it's
I'm
3
like,
years in
wow.
between movies when you think about it. Like it's been over 2 years since
Yeah,
GVK came out.
I guess that's true. I don't know. Maybe it's because oh, you know what it is? It's because the marketing is like the most lax it's ever been. Because I remember
Right.
Godzilla King of the Monsters and the Godzilla versus Kong marketing was like through the roof, right?
Well,
They
GVK we
probably
were like
yeah. Oh yeah, well I guess we were
oh, go
waiting
ahead.
for a trailer for like the longest
We
time.
waited forever for that trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, we even sat through CCXP, Jack, Ryan, and I, And one of the funniest streams, we sat through hours and we like had 2 seconds of footage and nothing else happened. And we were just we literally like crashed. We were so bored that we like crashed. Like everyone was like, there was a Facebook stream going on, and then everyone was like leaving the comments on there. Like, there's a whole highlight thing that Kaiju Network has together on his channel. It's one of the funniest things. Jack just losing it, like, my God, shut the fuck up and show us something. And then we just yep, somebody brought it up right there. The
CCXP
oh God, that
stream.
CCXP stream. That was legendary. Somebody like you like during the Facebook live stream, like, go check out Kaiju Network's channel, and then somebody was just like, Sean wanted for war crimes and something. the live comments on the Facebook stream. Yeah, we legit rated that stream, and it was one of the funniest streams. Like, we were like, it was a miserable long sit, but it was funny as shit. Like, we were laughing quite a bit. But yeah, like, we were so like desperate for some sort of footage and trailer, because there was nothing. Yeah. We were in a sad, depressed time. Nothing was coming out. And then all of a sudden, it's in January. It's just like, trailer Sunday. We had like a simple poster. And that trailer is the most viewed trailer in Warner Brothers channel. I think it's their second most video behind like some like musical thing. But when or music song or whatever, music songs always have like more views because people listen to them on repeat as opposed to just trailers. But that trailer came in, it kind of broke the internet, if you will.
It was edited so well. It was just perfect. It was
right. It was. We only had one trailer. Well, we had a Chinese trailer, which was a bit different. But this one, like, I mean, that's one of my most viewed videos. Like, just when we did the live stream reactions, we weren't sure it was gonna be an hour or like it was gonna pop up. Like, I think it was like we weren't sure if it was dropping at 11 or noon. Like, Ryan and I were on like that stream all day, running it through StreamYard on my old computer, which could not handle it. But we were like just so excited, anticipated, like, it's finally gonna happen today. And then when the trailer dropped, it's like, oh, start it. And then we were watching it, and it was, you can see our reaction. We're like, holy shit, oh my God, it's finally here. We were it was a happy moment. Like, just for one day, there was no arguing on the internet. It was the most peaceful I had ever seen, like, Twitter in my entire life, because just for one day, it's like everyone forgot about the rest of the world's problems and just wanted to see big monkey punch giant lizard. But now, like, that movie did very well, though. Like, it became a huge hit on streaming. Video sales were pretty good. Like, I mean, I think it was the most pirated movie of that year too. And like, it was a generally positive, well-received movie, and a lot of people were bummed that they couldn't see it in theaters. So I think the next movie is going to do even bigger. I legit think I think the next one will be the highest grossing film in the Monsterverse.
It makes you wonder why Godzilla King of the Monsters didn't make that much money.
Yeah, I was surprised because that first trailer, when King of the Monsters' first trailer dropped, that was one of the most magnificent trailers I'd ever seen. Like, it was just like, it was the best trailer at Comic-Con that year, because it just kind of came out of nowhere. It was the Claire de Lune music. I think King of the Monsters, maybe it was the 5-year gap. Maybe some people were confused why they didn't just put like Godzilla 2. Maybe it was still kind of like dealing with some of the baggage from 2014 and the way, like, it kind of took things a little too slow at times for people's liking. There's a couple other factors, but like, Godzilla vs. Kong was the big crowd pleasing movie that I think most audiences were kind of hoping for these types of movies.
Yeah.
So, and again, it was the movie people needed at the time. I know when it comes to Godzilla movies, like, opinions on these are always all over the place, because there's such a variety in the franchise. Some people like the more grounded, serious stuff. Some people like the more ridiculous, campy stuff. Some people like this. Some people like that. There's never like the one Godzilla film that's going to universally unite everybody as like their favorite, because the series is like so vastly different across its like 70 years. It's coming up on 70 years, right? Next year? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 70 years. Wow.
I remember
it's a long time.
I remember the 60th anniversary was a big deal. Because
it was like 2014 was coming up.
Yeah.
I did a whole 30 days of Godzilla marathon, which was just a really big, elaborate thing to have to do. Just crazy. Let's hear these other comments here. Let me see your Sage Godzilla's life. Yeah, that would be interesting. GBK was one of the first big success in box office post quarantine. That's right. Didn't make the most, but showed studios. Yep, exactly. It made almost like $500 million, despite most U.S. theaters still being closed and being same day and date release. on HBO Max. It did very well. Like, I mean, my theater was like pretty, like, it was like, because they had like 25% capacity limits, and a lot of people were still afraid to go outside. And the fact that it still cracked 100 million domestically, even like almost like surpassing King of the Monsters domestically,
Yeah,
is a whole thing in its own, right? So, but again, King of the Monsters, like, I think actually like gained more of an audience on home video and that too. Because like even like
probably. Yeah,
Godzilla vs Kong, like most people kind of went around and like I think King of the Monsters has actually grown a little bit more popularity since then because it also came out like post Avengers Endgame and John Wick and Aladdin as well at the same time. And I think if that movie released, say, in August and they made the marketing a little bit more condensed and didn't make a whole year away, I think it would have done better. But, you know, as it stands, it still did pretty well. And it also like I think it's made profit, right? I mean, with home
yeah,
video sales and like TV rights and all that other stuff, the audience is seeing King of the Monsters at this point. And I said, I think it's grown more appreciation over time. Um, I like it more than 2014. It's still my personal favorite in the Monsterverse. And again, there's some things each movie has done kind of better than the other, if you will. Like I think
yeah,
King of the Monsters has the best sense of wonder and awe when it comes to these titans, and the score is the best. 2014 definitely has the best sense of scale and tension and suspense. Skull Island has the best human cast, and Godzilla vs Kong has the best action and maybe the best monster characterization, with Kong kind of taking the lead there. So I think there's pros and
yeah,
cons to each one. That the other ones do better than the others. So, and of course, now we have this animated series, which is our next phase, and it's able to kind of do things that the movies couldn't do. You can like get away with things in animation that live action just it doesn't look right. As some Disney films have looked with their live action adaptations. Like
oh
just
gosh,
some
Disney.
really yeah.
Yeah,
Boy, we're in a weird phase where all these studios keep like having bomb after bomb. Like Warner Brothers, like they cannot get a win. Like their only win this year is Evil Dead, but don't worry, Barbie will save them this year.
my dad
But the
told me
Flash,
through his company, uh, his company, he gets like a what's called dividend, not or mutual fund or whatever. Through his
mhm,
401k, he gets stock in like a bunch of different companies, and
yeah,
one of them is Warner Brothers. And when the merger happened, his stock in Warner Brothers went down.
ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it went
They've like
down.
they've that company has been like dicked around so much the past couple years.
Yeah,
Their Time Warner, then they got bought up by AT&T. Then AT&T was in so much debt, and they're like, streaming is the future, but like streaming has a cap, right? Like there's
yeah,
you can't make there's only so much money you can make off it, and so like Netflix is in so much debt too. Nobody's really doing great. Looks like everyone's in a ton of debt. I think Universal's like probably doing the best overall, but we shall see. But yeah, like I said, like all
yeah.
these like movies are like bombing right now at the box office. I mean, Disney just had like Elemental bomb too. The Flash is bombing. Indiana Jones comes out next week. I don't see that movie making profit.
Really,
I genuinely don't. I don't. I think that one's gonna be a bomb too. Um, and then we'll see
I
what
watched
happens when.
I watched a Chris Stuckman's review of Indiana Jones, and he said he liked it, but then Jeremy Johns says he didn't like it. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
kind of the same
Indiana Jones
situation
is.
we've had
Yeah, I
with
think because like
Halloween
I think
Ends.
yeah, which that video will be coming out October. I think I'll just drop it October 3rd, either the 1st of October or October 31st. I might just release it on Halloween. That'll be the big Halloween end of the year special because that's one that's definitely coming this year. That's the one video for sure that will be out in October. That's the one I have a
Yeah,
deadline. That's the one that's already like planned out for a lot of it. Oh yeah, Rise of the Beast isn't doing well. Actually, Rise of the Beast I don't think is like I think it's still like in the net red. I want to see it. I was gonna go see it like maybe even today, but like I keep getting sidetracked when it comes to seeing Rise of the Beast. But like if I don't see it, it's gonna end my streak of seeing every live action Transformers movie in theaters. So I should get around to it sometime quick
yeah.
with Rise of the Beasts. But yeah. So, but anyways, so much to talk about when it comes to the MonsterVerse and all that other stuff. I
Right
still hate
on.
this damn staticky sound. Maybe I hold my microphone like this. It won't do that. But anyways, you have any other things to add, Pierce? Or
Uh, I'm looking forward to season 2, and I'm looking forward to Godzilla X Kong, and whatever may
and the
come after
Monarch
that.
TV show. Yeah, what?
Yeah,
Now
that
I
too.
know we'll see what they do with this next movie. Like I said, I'm aware of some things, not everything, because like apparently people don't know how to follow their NDAs when they see these
Yeah,
test screenings, which
yeah,
is just, I mean, like it's the temptation to just kind of look and see things. Like I said with the Toho film, I'm not really like seeing much with it because it's very super secretive and they're not really holding test screenings for it here or anything like that. So when that drops, I'm just gonna go see it. So and that's kind of the fun for me with that. Both Godzilla X Kong, like I know people who know things. So the Monarch TV show, I don't
yeah,
really know too much about. I know that there will be some returning characters from the movies, I guess, that'll appear in the show, maybe like one or two at least, um, or something.
yeah.
But in terms of the next movie, I know a few things, but not everything. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Right on,
Right on, right on, right on.
right
Anything
on.
else you want to add to there? Or you want to wrap up the stream, or you want to talk about other
Yeah.
stuff, or it's up to you, good sir.
Subscribe to Cinematic Trash. Got to throw it
That's
out
right.
there.
Subscribe to Cinematic Trash. I left the link in the description below. Pierce does some amazing stuff. I didn't see your latest video. I think it was what was
Night of
it
the
on?
Sharks. Night of
Night
the
of the Sharks.
Sharks.
I gotta check that thing.
Yeah.
I'll go check that thing out next because, well, like I said,
Yeah.
Pierce has done some good stuff. I liked your 98 video.
Yeah.
Of course, there was that line in there that I knew the joke. That's a lot of fish bit. I know who that's for, and I did smile about that. So you got any other big projects coming up or
Yes.
anything
So
exciting?
I wasn't sure how I wanted to make an announcement, if I was going to do a promo video, if I was just going to start it right away. But I have 2 big things in the works. I have one video devoted to a specific director, and I'm reviewing all his movies that are completely like his original movies. So that'll be 6 movie reviews in one video, which I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I'm also working on another series, and I'll spill the beans right here since this is just a stream. So what I'm doing is a comprehensive history of giant monster movies.
Oh, fantastic.
Going
I mean,
all the way back to the 1900s. And when I say 1900s, I mean 1900s. Like we're going to the
yes.
very,
What was
very,
the first giant
very
monster
beginning.
movie?
So the first giant monster movie, Shawnee boy, I think I'm gonna keep that a secret.
Oh no, come on, you're on the screen. Come on, you gotta let the very first, because again, I always think back to like King Kong, but like I know there's more stuff before it, like Lost World, I think predates it or something.
So
I don't know.
The very first monster movie came out in the year 1900. The 1900. And it's called A Jersey Skeeter. And it's a short silent film. So it's 123 years old by now, and it's there's actually a ton of silent giant monster movies that have been completely forgotten. But they exist.
Because like I said,
right?
But they're like short films, not feature length.
Well, I'm including short films up to a certain point. I think because I'm working on the list right now, right? And I'm like 200 movies deep. And the first, you can cover
movies.
The first,
but like that's a big like history.
60 year, yeah, it is a big history. It's supposed to keep me occupied for a long time.
I can only imagine putting that all together, like how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many movies. It's like when I did 30 Days of Godzilla, that was 30 days of just nonstop insanity. I need to get back to doing stuff like that again. I really do, Pierce. I just I get like stuck in this rut where I just can't like write anything for shit, and I just like everything's like it's in my head, and like I'm like I have like my it's like racing 100 miles an hour to all these different things I want to do, and then I try and get to the page, and then just
Yeah. Well, like I
it's
said,
hard sometimes.
I told you, you start with a list, right? You know, I love my lists. I love making lists.
Yeah.
And
The list of Jericho.
what I'm doing right now is I have this ginormous list with about over 1,000 giant monster movies.
Mm-hmm.
That means that's 1,000 videos. Pretty much. I was like thinking, is there a way to condense all this stuff? And I'm like, no, I think it would be nice to have like some really short videos, but also some really long videos. So
right,
you if it's a short movie, like it's a short video. Yeah.
Right, like and that sometimes is the most condensing. I remember like a few years ago on my old channel, I tried to do something called like Best Picture-a-thon, where I'd review every Best Picture movie in history. I got like through the first like 4 or 5, and then it was like before my old channel kind of went under, and I can't find those videos or those like scripts on them. That was like something I was like, oh, I could do like a whole like 80+ year history of the Oscars, just look at all the films that were like listed for Best Picture, not necessarily watch every film that was won that year or like that didn't win, but just like what was the Best Picture movie and like what went on from there. Because the first movie was something called Wings, and I think after that was something called like Broadway Melody, and then there was like All Quiet on the Western Front. After that, like I had like a whole like spree of like all of them like kind of put together because it was kind of exciting for me. I also did this like thing where I watched every animated Disney film in history from like the very beginning. The only ones I haven't seen are Strange Worlds and like Elemental, but I could watch those on Disney Plus. But I included like the straight to video ones too. I had this whole ranking list too. It was in the notes of my phone, but then it just got deleted somehow. Like I don't remember deleting, like all that information was gone. But I did watch every single animated film in history. I had like a whole ranking of it all. Like I had the theatrical ones ranked, I had the straight to video ones, and again, this is like live action animated hybrids. So I even watched things like Song of the South, which don't have an official release. Like the version I watched, like
it's like a
it was like online,
right?
No, it was I watched it like online, and then just the middle of it, it was on like the link kind of pulled like just the middle of it had like some weird ads just would abruptly play in the middle of the movie. The version I saw, because it's not officially released on Blu-ray or DVD, it's not on Disney Plus, it's kind of hard to find. But they were just, it was kind of weird and abrupt. But yeah, I went out of my way to watch every single one in history. So that was a massive undertaking. That took like a half a year to do because there's like hundreds of movies there. But your list, like 1,000 stuff, whew, that's a lot.
The good thing about this is that like it's not gonna be an in-depth analysis of every single movie. Some of the videos will be here. Yeah, well, some of the videos will be an in-depth analysis, but there's certain movies just really don't warrant such an in-depth analysis. You know what I mean?
Right, like Warning from Space or whatever. Like that one doesn't warrant. I'm looking like I have like this. Hang on, let me go grab it really quick. Like I got this thing like years ago, like this old like it was like I don't know like what it was called, but it was like a media store, kind of like a Circuit City. Hang on, let me pull it up. It's all like public domain stuff. Yeah, it's like this thing, which is full of like a bunch of. I think you have the same thing, don't you? I know you do. Yes, that 50 sci-fi. I have seen that. That's all public domain stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all like Gamera versus Monster X, Gamera versus Gauss, Yongari, Monster from the Deep, Warning from Space, which was really tough to sit through. There's people like these weird starfish costumes. What was it?
That's Warning from Space.
Planet. Yep.
The starfish.
Warning
that's
Space.
Warning from Space.
That one was bad. Like there's a lot of bad movies on this. They're hard to sit through. Destroy All Planets. A lot of these are just Gamera movies with retitled. War of the Monsters. Gamera the Invincible Giant, Gila Monster. Monster from a Prehistoric Planet was another really kind of low budget kaiju film.
Hey, that one was those public domain movies. A lot of them are bad, but a lot of them are also not actually that bad. It's just the way that you're watching them. They're public domain, meaning that the print on the disc that you're watching is coming from like a VHS tape, right?
Look at this. This putrid green
Yeah.
in that text.
I'll show you
This thing
something.
is like, I was so excited to watch this as a kid. This is like my first experience with like bad giant monsters, because I was like growing up on Godzilla and all that, and I'm like, oh, I want to watch Gamera stuff, but they're in such
So
bad quality.
this is Monster from a Prehistoric Planet, but on
Oh, look at
Blu-ray
that.
in its original title, Gappa the Triphibian Monster. And
Mhm.
much better way to it's your viewing experience is greatly enhanced when you watch a public domain movie
Oh
on a
yeah,
Blu-ray, and then you
like when I
realize the
got
movie really wasn't that bad.
the Gamera Blu-ray set, because I had bought like the DVDs and I'd owned the Gamera series before, and like I was trying to get like all the different versions of the movie until the Arrow big, huge, super like 50-pound box set came out. I could finally get them in like good like HD quality. It makes such a huge difference.
I couldn't get the box set because it was too expensive, and I didn't have a credit card at the time. But I did get these eventually.
Oh, that
Their
it's still
standard
the
edition.
Blu-rays.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it
the
come with
same
all the
disc.
versions of the movie?
Yeah, it comes with everything. It just doesn't come with the comic book and the other book and the
Yeah, I
posters
had
and
that.
stuff like that.
It's upstairs, but like that thing is heavy. Like I could like, and then the
Yeah.
Godzilla Criterion Collection was another one. But the Criterion Collection of Godzilla, it's not as like the Gamera set's more impressive because it includes every version. But
Mhm.
Criterion and the different, at least that includes the Japanese version of King Kong versus Godzilla.
The
So
Criterion set sucks. I'm gonna be honest. The
for
Criterion
Godzilla,
set sucks.
it could
Yeah,
be a lot better.
because the Blu-ray transfers are from the same earlier scans from 2008, which are on all
Mhm.
the DVDs. But because they're fitting multiple movies on the same disc, the bit rate is a lot lower for the movies. So oftentimes the version that you're watching on the DVD is better than what's on the Criterion disc, which is a huge
Mhm.
disappointment because it's the
Yeah, and they
brand
don't always come with
Criterion,
like
you know?
the different audio tracks too. But
Yeah,
also
no,
too, like
some
sometimes with
but
VHS, like there's some Godzilla movies that like the English version is very different depending on what you own. Like VHS
yeah.
tapes, like for instance, like Son of Godzilla or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster is one that has a version on that that's very different. Like there's the Titra dub and all that other stuff. I grew up, the VHS tape dub is way better than the one that they have on the actual like DVDs and Blu-rays, because and the opening is different too. Like they have like an extended opening on like the Blu-ray in that
Mhm.
that wasn't originally present. But the dub, for instance, is the one I grew up on, so I have like the most connection with that. Like if I want to watch it, I'm
Yeah.
like there's the English dub is so awful on the Blu-ray and like the DVD that I was kind of
Yeah.
regretting that I got rid of my VHS until I found that the version I wanted to watch was on YouTube.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of the nostalgia connection though. Like it's like it's tough for me to watch like another version of the movie, if you will. But that was
Yeah.
kind of the case with a lot of the early Godzilla movies I've made. Like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla,
Yeah.
like it has the different title cards like Godzilla vs. the Bionic Monster, Godzilla vs. the Cosmic Monster,
Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Like it's the same title, but then they just like add like a still image over that changes the title, if you will, at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. I know in Japan they were doing 4K new 4K transfers of all the movies, but they just haven't put them on actual discs yet in Japan, and so
I
that
would love a
means
4K set
it'll
of every
be
Godzilla movie, both versions, mind
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. But that's like a dream come true, and usually Toho doesn't really it doesn't follow through on dream come
True.
trues.
Why can't I own Singular Point? Why can't I own the anime trilogy? Despite my dislike of it, I want it for completion purposes. It's kind of sucks that it's never been given an official like North American release. Even Shin Godzilla got one, but the anime
Yeah,
trilogy. I mean, as much as I dislike it, I still want to have it for completion purposes.
yeah. Um, but yeah, dude, do you buy Blu-rays and 4K discs,
Uh,
right? Like you
yeah, I
buy them more
do.
than
I've had more
DVDs?
issues with 4K. Yeah, I mean, I'll buy 4K. Like some movies, like I'm like it just depends. Like I own Godzilla vs Kong in 4K. I have like Watchmen in 4K. Like that's a good version to
Yeah,
have. Although I've had issues sometimes with Warner Brothers discs with 4K movies where sometimes they'll like have an error and it won't play the rest of the movie. But the
yeah,
Blu-ray will play fine on the 4K player, and then I'll have some 4K movies that play through all the way. But I've had more technical issues with 4K um, discs than I have with Blu-ray ones.
it's because the 4K disc has so much information on it. The slightest little bit of damage to the disc, even an unnoticeable one, would like fuck up the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue.
Uh,
Like I also bought John Wick 4 and 4K. I haven't had the chance to watch the 4K version yet, but I'm sure it
what I
looks
ended up
great.
having to
And the
do
thing is,
was like for example, Arrow Video. I've noticed a problem with Arrow Video a lot. Like I was watching like a Dario Argento movie, like
oh, which one?
Bird with the
I still
crystal
need to watch more of his stuff.
plumage
I'm going to say
on Blu
Suspiria is
on
kind of
4K.
overrated.
Yeah,
Suspiria is
but
overrated. It's
um
the colors look great. Like color palette looks amazing in like the different colors, and the score is good. But the rest of that
yeah.
movie, sorry.
But yeah, I was watching the Argento movie on 4K, and like it around the hour mark, the film, the disc stopped working, right? And I couldn't get it to
Yeah,
play. So I took the disc out, put the tray back in, play the movie again, and it would stop at the exact same like mark. So what I ended up having to do was I had to go in like the scene selection and pick like the last scene. So I could go to the end of the movie and then rewind it to slightly after where the stopping point would
yeah,
happen.
it's
And then it
horseshit.
would play
Like these
just
4K
fine.
discs
It's just like, yeah, you pay so much money for them, and then like they're like kind of shoddy. You know what I mean?
yeah, 4K is definitely like has way more like Blu-ray. Like there's really not much of a difference you can tell, anyways.
If you
It's
have a
just
big
you know what the
screen,
difference
you would,
is.
but yeah,
I don't really notice it that much. Like I mean, I have a 4K TV right there behind me, and I can't
yeah.
really tell much of the difference. Mostly because
Well,
like 4K
yeah.
is not as much a leap forward as Blu-ray was to DVD. I feel like, but there's just too
Well,
many technical issues.
maybe not, but the thing is, the size of your TV definitely matters. Like I have a 4K TV, but
Yep.
the 4K and a Blu-ray movie will look almost identical, except for maybe the detail on someone's hair. Like you could see someone's
Right.
hair better. But if you have a bigger screen, like a 90-inch or a 100-inch screen, then the
That's a
4K.
55.
Yeah, see, you need like twice the size. You need a TV
I
twice
have
the
no
size in
space
order
for it. Look at all
for
this
4K
shit
to
behind me,
really.
Pierce. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like I got all these like movies, and there's no room left for it. I mean, yeah, and like I said, that's like a 4K 3D TV, and it's one of those active 3Ds where you need like the battery power glasses, and half the time that shit doesn't work.
Whoa, fancy.
Right. I got it like TVs are so much cheaper now than they used to be. Like it's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, yeah, my PS5 has technical issues too. Like sometimes it'll cut out. Somebody brought up a PS5 and like it's these newer things, man. Like they just have issues. Like my PS5 will randomly like abruptly cut out. No explanation as to why. I've never seen anybody else have this problem on video or anything. And then it'll be fine for like an extended period of time. Then it has moments where it just cuts out of nowhere, and it happens completely at random. I don't know if it was like my PS4 works fine. Everything else, it's just kind of annoying. But yeah, like 4K and all that, like I've seen a lot of problems with it. At least what
Yeah.
I've experienced, just consistent issues with it. And again, it's kind of a newer format with the discs, but it's still an excuse. Like my cut of Watchmen does not play the full version in 4K that I bought specifically for that. Like the director's cut Blu-ray plays just fine. But the 4K version, like with the Tales from the Black Freighter, it'll have issues. Luckily, I have a digital copy of it, so I can watch it, like streaming wise. But it still kind of annoys me that I have that issue. That's why I bought the 4K. I don't know.
Yeah.
My Series
but
X
yeah.
cuts off all the time. So I'm seeing all these different comments in here about these discs and all that. But yeah, like I said, it's fun talking discs and all this other stuff. We can just go off on a tangent talking like everything. I mean, look at us. We started out at Skull Island. And again, that still is the main focal point of this video, but we just go off and all sorts of other things. But I am really very much looking forward to that series you're going to put together because I very much enjoyed the rather recent videos. The 98 one, that little in joke at the end, I did appreciate that. Because as soon as I saw, I'm like, I know why that's there.
I was considering YouTube now lets you create multiple channels under one Gmail now, and I was considering starting a whole new channel just for that series, but I was like, no, I'm already at 340.
No, you already have a channel out there. Like,
yeah, I'm like,
no,
let me keep that
starting
going.
fresh is a pain.
Yeah.
See, my
Yeah, most
channel has a
definitely.
bit of everything, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like, I'll put whatever out and that's for me. Like I said, I do this because I enjoy it. I like putting stuff out there. Yeah, I get a
Are
little
you
bit
monetized?
back. Yeah, I'm
Are
monetized. Some
yeah.
things like it's like when I did my I got monetized when I started covering like the DC animated movies, like because like when I covered
Yeah.
like Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, I was like the go-to channel for that because that was the end of like an animated universe. My channel like blew up. Like I had like my most
Yeah,
viewed
I
video,
remember.
like it was like had like 70,000 views, and like if I had that shit monetized, like, and then like I have other videos like because people are asking me to like cover different stuff, like here cover these two characters and why they have like a relationship or something. Those videos still get like 1,000 views a month, like which is very unprecedented for like most types of videos. Some videos kind of just peak initially. These other videos,
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, Pierce, they get like 1,000 views a month, and they just keep going and keep going and keep going. And one of the keys is you put shipping stuff in the thumbnail, you get more views.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. I've come to realize. And like I said, those videos were just like people in the comments like do something like this. I'm like, okay, I'll cover it. And like I said, I eventually need to get back to covering those the DC animated universe, animated movie universe, if you will. Like I
Yeah.
actually was like writing some of the next movie's script in that regards, and I have a lot of it done. I just need to kind of rewatch the movie one more time and then just kind of do some tweaks, and I could probably just film it soon. So, but again, I have this problem where like I want to do so many different things at once, and if I'm focusing on one thing, it's like, oh, you're not focusing on this enough. But I need to do what you do. I need to have a list. I need like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start putting together a schedule and like, okay, this is the video that gets worked on this week.
Yeah.
Everything else gets pushed aside, or like maybe like a set schedule. Like, okay, here's an hour of writing time for this thing, or like a watch. Like you have your
Yeah.
watch window, and then here's the writing time, and then that'll leave time for other things.
Yeah. I
I
have
think that's
let me tell you, when I told you that like I'll have schedules, but the schedules are never definitive. I have so many like abandoned schedules made because
it
there
is a
because
challenge, man.
there's a lot of stuff I want to do, and but there's not enough time to do all of it. And at the same time, you also have to make sure that there's consistency on the channel with the type of videos you make. Because if I just keep
Right.
making videos based on different shit, I'll be casting a wide net to different audiences. But
Right.
like if I cover the one thing and then I get that audience, and then my next 10 videos is stuff that they don't care about, then it's just like, what I hooked them in and left them hanging. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
kind of
Right.
hard for me to
So
pick and choose what's gonna fit and what doesn't fit. You know what
I
I
still
mean?
have like that's kind of like me sometimes too, where like I like to branch out and do other things. I still kind of have my main window, like the DC comic book stuff is kind of the main window. The Godzilla stuff is kind of like right there. They're like the top two pillars. But then like I'll do
Yeah.
something like the Halloween series, which I'm very passionate about. And I'll cover that. Or Hellraiser was one, which I still got to get to the next thing. I don't think the latest movie came out. I was kind of waiting to get the home video of it. I know it was on Hulu, and I definitely wanted to make a video talking about it. But I was kind of waiting for like a home video disc. I'll have to see if it's out there yet, and then I can kind of wrap that series up because like every time like I talked about the entire Hellraiser series, and then like a new movie would come out, and then I do a video on it, and then now it's like where the next one will go from there. So, but yeah, I still need to get that other
Yeah.
one. My previous Hellraiser video, it has my favorite opening of any video I've done. And that was kind of
Yeah.
like I think that came out like 2018. That was like kind of when everyone started kind of coming together. Like I said, you, Kaiju Network, and Jack and Nick and all that. We were all kind of like
Yeah.
forming a group, if you will. So that's kind of the fun of it all. But yeah, so all that other fun stuff. I'm looking forward to what you have planned next. It's going to be exciting. Anybody who's not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Subscribe to Cinematic Crash. Covers all sorts of great stuff. I'm curious to see how the views of this video would be because, like I said, live stream. I haven't had anybody on my channel for a live stream, and I can't even tell you. Let me look really quick. The last time I had anybody like on any like sort of live stream in any sort of capacity, really quick was because I have not had anybody on for like a live stream. Like I've done stuff on my own, but let
Yeah.
me check really quickly when the last live stream I had somebody on the channel with me was. I did live stream last weekend, so this is back-to-back weeks. This is kind of a record after not because the last live stream I did was back in September of last year.
You had Jack on your channel in a stream a year ago.
Oh wow, did I? No,
Yeah.
I was on his channel. Like I'm looking right now, the live videos. Return to
Says
live streams. Yeah,
the,
featuring Big Jack Films, September 2021. Why is this one
oh
partially
shit,
blocked?
it's 2 years. Holy crap. Oh, you're probably watching something, right?
Yeah, we're talking just the return to the live streams. Big Jack Films is on there. I did do live watching. Oh, you did the Batman Forever and and Robin watch party. I was doing watch parties too. Those were fun to do. Like I need to do Batman Returns next because like I did that like January 2021 was the last one I did. I had Jack on that one. We just kind of like did full commentary over the movie. Watch the DC animated movies. I did ones for like the Apocalypse War. I did 2 of those, and those things did huge view wise.
Yeah.
I think I at one point had like 100 something people watching one of them at one time. Limited ads.
Yeah, your Justice League Dark Apocalypse review has 75,000 views. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, Tehillim. Like I was on your channel too. Yeah, that's right. That was ages ago. You know, actually, like every time I appear on someone else's channel in some sort of video, I put together I have a playlist that's called guest appearances, so that way I can remember which ones I've been on. Because sometimes when you've appeared in like so many different channels, you'll tend to forget things. So every time I'm on one, whether it's that or like if it's a cameo compilation, one of Jack's videos, or if I'm on a live stream or something, I will add it to a playlist. And either the video gets deleted by the uploader or something else happens with it. But it's a good reminder of like, say, okay, so here's where we're at this point. Sometimes I'll go back and look at all the crazy streams I've done on like, say, Ryan's channel. Like, wow, we did this here, we did this then.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I get a few more, some more subscribers going, I'll start doing some live streams as well. Plus, I want to get a new webcam too. But there's tons of things I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And lots of stuff to talk about. I mean, look at this. See, I'm so glad you jumped onto this thing tonight so we could talk Skull Island. Because if I was just by myself, because I did like 2 hours straight, like I think I did like 2 hours like last weekend, just the end of the DC Extended Universe, but that took such a toll on my throat. Because I was just like nonstop talking for 2 hours without a break, and doing live streams on your own, unless you're like on a Twitch stream or something like that, it's exhausting. Yeah. Like it takes a toll. Even like talking now, but
I see why people play video games while they stream. Like it's easier for them because they got something to occupy themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Stop changing the goalposts.
I heard that you can now monetize yourself in limited ways if you have 500 subscribers. Like you're allowed to sell merch and get super chats once you hit 500, but you still need 1,000 to get ad revenue.
Yeah, I don't know,
something like that.
I don't know if I have super chats on my channel or not. I'd have to look again. But like I said, I mean, people I just have ads on the video so people can kind of watch stuff from there.
Yeah,
but that's really about it for me. So I don't really do super chats, or I don't have a Patreon. I've never actually used Patreon in my life. So I don't really know fully how it works. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. Like I do stuff on my own. I'll put ads on the videos. So I can just make a little extra money back. But that's about it. I mean, people have like skip it. Like it is what it is. Yeah. So it's a fun hobby for me, right? Like it takes me a few months for the paycheck to kind of accumulate with YouTube stuff. Although like some videos will come out of nowhere, do like the Flash video I did, the Flash review, because like I got an early month screening of that. Like I made because it was a free screening, I actually like made profit from that because it didn't cost me anything to go to the theater. So like that one did very well for me. So, but that was like I was like finally I desperately needed to hit on the channel because it had been a while. So it was one of those positive things. I got to get back into doing more stuff like that again. But
yeah,
sometimes you just don't know.
Hey, speaking of videos, G-Fest.
Yes.
G-Fest.
I will be going next month. I said this on Jack's channel. You will be there as well. I think
I will absolutely be there.
I haven't. Right.
I messaged you. I initially messaged you, or you messaged me.
I don't know because like I was
we texted each other about it.
Yeah, we asked each other back and forth about it. This is the first time I've been there. This is only the second time I've ever been to Godzilla Fest. I went back in 2018. That was the first time I ever
Yeah.
went. I drove there and back the same day, which was like 8 hours in the car in total, and also across 2 different time zones. But
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. That's actually where I met Jack. Did I meet you there? I don't know. Or maybe I think
I
I met
didn't meet you. I met
afterwards.
Jack, but I didn't meet you. I
Right.
didn't
Maybe we
even know
bumped
you
into
were
each other
there.
without us realizing. Right. A few
We
people
probably
actually
walked by
recognized
each
me.
other.
Right.
I don't
It's
know.
kind of one of those strange things. It's kind of funny too, at my current job, at like one of my coworkers was at the same Comic-Con as me. And then
Yeah.
I was looking through like the Comic-Con videos. And then I saw him in the video and we're like by each other without us realizing it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of funny and all that.
That's
But like
funny.
it's kind of like that with G Fest. Like I did a video. Maybe you actually are in one of the videos I did for like 5 years ago. So maybe it's in there. I'll
Possible.
send you the link again. So
I
that was like my G Fest experience.
I went to G Fest in.
You've
When
gone a
did I
bunch of
go?
times though.
I have. I think I went to G Fest
Last year too.
2015. Wait, no, I went the first time I went to G Fest. I just finished like 6th grade, right? So that would have been that was after G 2014. That was yeah. I probably went in 2016, and then I went again in 2017.
2018.
No, 2018
was the year I went.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The second time I went was when I saw you guys. Okay, so yeah, I went in 2016. I went in 2018. I went in 2019. That's when none of you guys were there. So
I know
that
I
was,
really wanted to go.
yeah.
I was like out of town. I was so sad because I saw like people at the screening singing and clapping to Godzilla's theme music. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted to be in that crowd, but that's something I wanted to experience, and unfortunately,
we planned to go in 2020 and 2021, but they both got canceled. and then I did go last year, and I'll be.
I know you're
messaging
me. Hey, you're gonna make it. I was like, I don't have it in me to drive there and back again. I'm sorry, but this year I'm gonna be there for like the whole shebang, like the whole like. I mean, I'll do other things when I'm out there because, like, I know I won't spend 24/7 at the convention. I'll be there each day.
What are you coming in? When are you coming in?
I'll be in like that third. I'll be in there like that Thursday to like Sunday. So we'll definitely like meet up.
What time?
Stuff.
What time do you think you're coming in Thursday? Because
I'm just gonna wake up and then
I want you to go to Taste of Park Ridge, which is across the street from the Pickwick Theater. That's like the most
like what time
fun
are you getting
thing.
Because you're flying in though, right?
Yeah, we're flying in Thursday morning or afternoon because we want to check into the hotel. I'll be in and then but Taste of Park Ridge starts like in the evening, right? So you'll have, depending on what time you drive into, you should be able to see the concert. It goes on all night. Right, I think the show ends at like 11 or 12. So
I gotta
there for you.
Right, because I'll go to like the hotel I'll be at, and just gotta check in because like G Fest starts the Friday, right? Not the Thursday. They just have like screenings.
Yeah, they just show the movies at the Pickwick Theater on Thursdays.
I've never been to the Pickwick Theater, but I do want to.
Really?
I saw Godzilla 98's playing. Is it just like you have to go? Like, do you buy the tickets online to the theater? Or is it just
no? You go. It's like I forget how much. It was like $15 per person, and they just you buy a ticket, you go in. It's just like going to the movie theater. It's nothing.
Okay, so I can't like buy it on like the Fandango app if I wanted to.
No. The Pickwick's a historic theater. I think you have to actually go to the box office.
Okay, first come, first serve.
But it's a big
I saw
theater.
Godzilla 98. Yeah. Right. I saw Godzilla 98 was gonna be playing on Thursday. So if I can get in early enough, I will be sitting through that movie. Just to say I saw Godzilla 98 in theaters. And just so I can see Matthew Broderick yell, "That's a lot of fish." It's like one of the earlier. I wish it was in the evening, but I think it's like a 3 p.m. showing. So I don't know. Like maybe I'll leave early in the morning. Maybe I won't. I'll just wake up. I'll stretch.
Of movies at the Pickwick Theater this year is a little like, aside from Godzilla against Mechagodzilla and Godzilla Tokyo SOS, I was like, this selection of movies.
I wish they. Yeah, the selection's like okay,
Yeah,
because I already seen like I won't be seeing that one on the Friday night showing because like
yeah.
I already went to the Fathom events, so I don't really have a reason to. Maybe I might see 2014. I think I might go to the Saturday night for 2014 though, because that was like that'll
Yeah.
be the big night screening with everyone. So
Yeah.
and plus
So
I haven't seen
Godzilla
2014
'98.
in theaters in a decade.
Yeah, that's true. Godzilla '98 plays at 3 p.m. So if I'm there after that movie's over, which will be around like 5:30 ish, you could just walk across the street and Taste of Park Ridge will already be going on.
All right,
You get
well, like
yourself
I
a
said,
beer, sit down, have a good time.
yeah, I mean, I don't really drink beer because I don't really like it, but I'll get myself a
Uh,
refreshing
yeah,
beverage of sorts. So
I don't
I know
drink
people look
either,
at me
so
funny. Yeah, yeah, I'll give me an Arnold Palmer if they
yeah.
have those, something refreshing. So I'm
I
excited,
just
man.
get
I
like
am not
a
this
water and a Coke.
that too, that
Yeah,
too. I have not had any type of like this will be the most like when I started my new job last year, it'll be like the most PTO days I've taken, 3
really?
in a row because like I had to like
Wow.
build it up from zero. So I have not like gone. I have not traveled really anywhere in a few like outside of visiting family, like in say like North Carolina or something. I haven't really traveled on like on an actual vacation since like 2021. So this will be fun. It'll be a couple days off, taking it easy, and even then, I'm still kind of working like the first couple days of the week. Um, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a
How
fun
long of
time.
how long of a drive is it for you?
I think it's like 4 hours, which isn't
4 hours?
bad.
Oh, that's not bad.
I've done no, I did this past year. I drove to North Carolina back to back days, so that was like 12 hours each way, and I was sick as hell.
Yeah.
And so that was like the drive from hell. So hopefully my health is in good shape, but I that was the worst drive ever. I was just miserable. Um,
It takes a while to
but
get around in
this one,
Florida alone,
yeah,
because
yeah, it's a
Florida is
big state.
it's a big state, bigger than people realize. So, like driving from Jacksonville
Hmm.
to Key West, Florida, takes like 12 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Punk Productions beer is gross. It just doesn't taste good. I've tried, believe me. I remember like I went to like Universal like California and I had like I was like, "Oh, I'm going to have a beer at Moe's Tavern." It was the shittiest tasting beer I'd ever like had in my life. I'm like, "Is this a
Yeah,
gag? This is just like disgusting." I feel like I'm drinking an ashtray. It just was not yeah, gross and bitter. It's just not for me. And you know what? I guess it's good in the end. So,
it depends what kind of beer, because there's different kinds of beers. Different countries make it in different ways, different brands.
yeah, like you have dark
Uh,
beer, light beer, lagers and all that other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Well, a popular. I live in a college town, so like they're like
Oh yeah.
Trulies are popular, and Pink Whitney, Mike and Ike's are not Mike and Ike, Mike's are popular. I don't know if those really count as beer per se, or just well, what are they like? Just
Good afternoon, Mr. Wick.
seltzer, alcoholic seltzer.
Yep. How you doing,
But,
Nerd Cage Live?
but yeah,
Good to see you. Nerd Cage Live is here. Good to see you, Jay. So, Nerd Cage Live, give them a shout out or a sub. A lot of cool stuff on his channel. Just wanted to say hi. Good to see you. Good to see you.
howdy.
We were just talking Skull Island. Just when we go off in conversations, because like I haven't had a live stream with a guest on in so long. But yeah, no, Jay, you got to check out Skull Island when you get the chance, because like we went into a whole full spoiler discussion on the whole thing, and it was really. I mean, I liked it. There's a lot of things that they can improve, of course, in season 2, and it's kind of like it breezes by with those 8 episodes. Like it just flew by. I mean, now ever since like the whole Netflix binging model, like I just get through things like so quickly now, so it's kind of crazy. Like you remember like the days where like we'd watch things on TV and not necessarily like
Yeah.
binge things. Now we're just binge.
There's a lot of streaming services though. We're kind of regressed back to cable in a way.
Yeah, it's just like fuck. How many do I pay for? I got like or
Yeah.
Max. I have Max,
Max,
stupid name. I have Netflix,
Disney Plus,
Amazon,
Netflix,
Disney
Amazon
Plus,
Prime, Peacock,
Crunchyroll, Funimation, Peacock.
Apple
I got that
TV
too.
Plus.
I don't have Apple TV Plus yet, but I will for the Monsterverse show.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime. I mean, Paramount's through this. Oh my sweet Jesus! The only one I don't pay for that I use somebody's is Hulu, which thank God, because I needed a break somewhere.
Yeah.
I have the power of 1, 2, 3 movies. Yeah, but like I said, that's sure it's supposed to be cheaper. If you have all the services, you're paying so much more.
Indeed, that is
9
correct.
anime is based. Well, I mean, I have Crunchyroll on the go. I have that and Funimation. Because I'm just trying to. I watch a lot of various different anime series if I can. There's just so much.
If anyone wants to
I'm
see
actually,
movies for free, go to Onion Play. Okay, Onion Play. That's my little gift to everybody. Onion Play will save your life.
Yeah, someone got rid of Max for Paramount. Yeah, Paramount I have is like I don't have it like on its own. I have it like as a channel on like Amazon Prime. So it literally is Paramount Blood. It's through Amazon Prime. If you like, it's like it's like an added thing. You get the whole thing. Yeah, it's just so many damn streaming services. I cannot keep up with them all anymore. It's just too much. Amazon Prime, well, because I pay for Prime anyways, so that's just included.
Yeah.
So that's not like the worst thing because I order so much stuff off the site, so it pays for itself, right?
Yeah.
Peacock, I do that because well, a lot of things are on there. Like when I watch my wrestling shows, usually like when they do the premium events, I watch those live. So that's not too bad there. Peacock's also a really dumb name for service.
For Paramount Plus because they had a couple shows that I actually really wanted to see. They had because I like mafia movies too, like guilty pleasure mafia movies. I love mafia movies, right? So
Casino edited for TV, the best mafia movie of all time.
No. But yeah,
no, it's
Paramount Plus.
Casino edited for TV is funny as shit though. It's Tulsa King, right?
They had Tulsa King and the Offer, which is a fictionalized account of the making of the Godfather movie.
Oh, that sounds kind of funny.
Yeah,
is it like a comedy or is it?
No, it's like a because the making of the Godfather is in itself a crazy story because they had the Italian Defamation League protesting the movie. You had real mobsters didn't want the movie getting made, so they sent enforcers to the studio to shake down Coppola and like the producers. A real mob boss was like, "Fucking, I'll be damned. This movie will not get made." Right? It was just a crazy story to begin with. Yeah, plus the stuff with Marlon Brando. It's just
a fucking movie too, is the thing. Well, Marlon Brando could be. Marlon Brando fell in love with himself. Like, you ever see the interview where Christopher Reeve talks about him? He's like, I'm not impressed with this guy. This guy could be such a great talent to help other actors, but he fell in love with himself, and he just stopped trying.
Marlon Brando refused. It's funny. Marlon Brando refuses to memorize his own lines. Right?
Yeah, he just has an earpiece in him.
No, it's not even an earpiece. He'll have like cue cards off camera, but like because the way of the blocking, they had to put the cue cards in kind of abnormal places. So like in The Godfather, Robert Duvall has to have a cue card hidden in his jacket, so like Marlon Brando could read it, but he's acting opposite Robert Duvall. In Last Tango in Paris,
this guy
Last Tango in Paris, Marlon Brando had a sex scene, but he had to say some lines, so they wrote the lines on like the girl's butt cheek, so he could read the lines off her butt cheek.
Oh yeah, faster.
Marlon Brando, man, he's crazy. He's crazy.
Oh, so that's where it's supposed to go. Oh god, I'm just I was like laughing, so I was like drooling. I heard some instances where the earpieces and like other like radio signals would go on and like he'd be like it's like in a like Anchorman where like Ron reads the news or you've seen Scary Movie 3.
Yeah.
The news reporter scene in Scary Movie 3 where they keep changing the lines and like Jeremy Piven just keeps reading it as it's like it's nothing. It's like, I've been sleeping with this news reporter's wife this whole time or something. Like he's just like reading the lines as is, just not even caring.
Yeah.
So
Bruce
apparently
Willis.
like police scanner things would pop up. Or Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis, as you know, has been struggling with memory problems, right? And that's why all his
Right,
movies
dementia of some sort.
have been crap. He's been pretty much just doing movies for money, and he'll be in very little like footage. They'll have a body
Yeah,
double for most of his shots, but when he is on screen and he is saying lines, he has an earpiece, right?
yeah,
Because he'll forget his lines, so they'll have someone feed him his lines to the earpiece, and it's kind of sad
yeah. I heard that
actually.
story. Like,
The whole
yeah,
Bruce Willis story.
Willis. Like, I mean, he's got his health issues, so it's like more understandable why he's doing. But he's kind of like retiring
Yeah,
pretty much from acting. Because like he just, I mean, even like before that, it looked like he stopped caring. But it could have been like the memory issues too that helped, that kind of cemented that. But
yeah.
yeah, Bruce Willis kind of gave up, like really, like even like before all that was like officially like diagnosed and all that, he kind of just stopped caring. Like a lot, he did like
In a
5 straight
way,
to
yeah.
video movies where he'd
He
film them
did.
all in like one location,
He did like
and then that would be
100
it.
straight to video movies. He would do 10 movies a year.
Yeah, and just put him on the cover, and he'd have the same expression like
Yeah,
the whole time. And hey, he made good money off of it.
yeah.
I remember one
He's
time
leaving
refused to
money.
do Expendables.
He's making money for his family. So when he does go, it's like they'll already have money. They'll be
Right.
set.
He got like he was supposed to be in Expendables 3, but he turned down an offer of $3 million for 4 days because he wanted 4 million for 3 days like worth of work. And then they're just like, no.
Let me
So
be on
like
set an
like
extra
the
day, but
past,
get an extra million. That's funny.
yeah, like dude, you're like, so instead they got Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford got to fly around his like helicopter or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
Expendables 3 wasn't that great. I'm curious to see how 4 will turn out. 2 was the best one. But yeah.
Two is my favorite of the Expendables movies.
Yeah, same here. I have not seen
There was
3 in years, but they made it PG-13, which is
yeah,
dumb.
they did. They announced forever ago that the fourth Expendables would actually be the Expendabellas, an all-female Expendables movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that never ended up happening. I think it's because
But we got
Melissa
Expendables 4
McCarthy
now.
was cast, but she fell off kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, she did the spy movie with Jason Statham, so if that counts.
I guess. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it
She
is
was
what
in
it is, I suppose.
the Heat with what's her face? Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock, yep. Sandra Bullock was
Yeah.
in a few action type movies. Like she was in Speed, even Speed 2,
Mm-hmm.
Cruise Control. Oh man. Speed 2, like the ending is kind of cool with the cruise ship crashing, and because that was like a lot of practical stuff. Like that stunt like cost more than the entirety of the first movie.
Yeah,
And it still was a bomb. But
that's
Defoe
crazy.
hams it up quite a bit. Like this, he was like his
He does.
pre-Goblin, like Defoe, and he is just yucking up that scenery quite a bit. And you know what? I love when actors just yuck up the scenery quite a bit. Like we need more scenery
I
chewing.
love Willem Dafoe.
Oh
I
yeah,
really
he's
want
one of
Willem
the
Dafoe
greatest.
to play the Joker. They missed an opportunity to have him play Joker.
He has
Willem
stated that
Dafoe.
too. He wanted to play like because everyone has always said about it, and he everyone knows he crushed it. Like he was like he wanted to like play like Joker 2, like a Joker copycat or something.
Yeah,
But we're not gonna get that. Joker 2 is, I guess, gonna be like a weird musical. I have no idea how it's gonna turn out, but I'm like, you
I
know
have no
what? Give
fucking
me the
idea.
weirdest shit. It'll make a lot of money. So,
Did you see? You
but
saw the Batman, right?
oh, of course. I mean, I have like, after the movie on it. Like I enjoyed the Batman quite a bit. It's not my
Yeah.
favorite Matt Reeves movie. I'd still give War for the Planet of the Apes like
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
benefit for being his best movie. But the Batman has a lot of good stuff going for it. Pattinson is really good as Batman. He's lacking as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Some people are like, "Oh, he's the best." I'm like, "Well, his Batman's really good. His Bruce Wayne is he's just
Well,
emo 100% of the time."
His Bruce Wayne is barely in the movie.
Right,
Pretty
and
much
he
wears
has
the
like
costume
barely
for almost the entire movie, except for like a couple
which is
scenes.
kind of a refresher too. But like, I liked him. I liked Gordon. Riddler was like hamming it up quite a bit, and he like was kind of funny, unintentionally. But yeah, like we kind of like were like robbed of his like face for most of it because he wears that Zodiac thing, and then Colin Farrell as the Penguin is pretty entertaining. Like
John Turturro
I mean, I
was
just think back.
Falcone.
Yep, and then Zoe Kravitz was Selena Kyle. We'll see what they do with the sequel. I'm hearing they want to do Clayface or something.
Are you going to see the
But
HBO Max or the HBO?
oh, of course I will be.
Series?
hey, I'm somebody who sat through 4 seasons of Titans. I can handle an 8 episode like mini series of like the Penguin. I know the writer's strike was going on, so but we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's Joker's missed opportunity. I agree. Willem Dafoe is literally Jesus. That's right. He did play Jesus in The Last Temptation of Christ, but
that's a Martin Scorsese movie.
It all comes back together.
Yeah.
Put Willem Dafoe in the Monsterverse while you're at it too. And like I said, Willem Dafoe like is good in pretty much everything. Although like the one movie I feel like he wasn't really utilized was like Triple X State of the Union. Like we have Willem Dafoe as a bad guy. He's like given no presence or anything to work with in this movie.
Yeah. It's too bad.
Yeah. But anyways, I've gone off on such a large tangent from just Skull Island and talking about like pretty much everything. I mean, this is what these streams generally happen. We just because, like I said, it's good to have something on the stream, just talk about all sorts of things. So everyone gets the added bonus of all sorts of other things, including Skull Island and Monsterverse stuff. I know Godzilla's not going to appear in the show from I think what one of the showrunners said. But that's okay. Yeah. He'll be in the Apple show. Let Kong have his showcase and his thing, and then they'll come back together. This is the way that. So like, it's kind of like when the Avengers went off on their own journeys, right? So we got a Kong focus thing, another Godzilla TV focus things on the television side, and then they'll come back together for the next movie. I wonder how their dynamic will be. I had heard that somebody said like I guess one of the first times they meet, they're gonna be fighting on the pyramids. I've heard something like that. I don't know if like that's Yeah, like.
That sounds
Kong and
epic.
Godzilla are on the right. I think Kong is gonna like tackle like Godzilla into like a pyramid or something. I've heard something like that, but I don't know if that's fully true or not. But that's what I've heard. So we'll see how it turns out. All right, Toku Punk Productions, thanks for joining. It's good to have you on here.
Thank you.
But I don't know. Like we'll see how this next movie turns out. I am kind of bummed that a lot of stuff did get kind of revealed, even though it was like. Somebody clearly didn't follow their NDA when they did so. But now we kind of have a little bit of info out there. And you know what? Now it's like, I'm excited to see how it all plays out with the next movie. And the thing with the shows, though, is like, it's a lot easier to conceal stuff because with movies, they're test screening and all that all the time. But with shows, they don't really do that.
Yeah.
To the extent. So. Should be fun. Cool. Wow, it is after midnight here. I just realized that we've been talking for almost like over 2.5 hours. I know we're like, I was getting ready to like, oh, plug your stuff. And then we just went off on a tangent talking about all sorts of other things. So
Dude,
that's how some of these streams, I love talking too. Like once I start, like I just don't shut up sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, giant monster stuff. I'm really excited to see what you bring to this next series. The tons of, so you said you're having like one that's gonna be kind of like things condensed into one, and then like the monster stuff maybe like form.
that was just a thought experiment where I'm like, oh, maybe I could fit 20 movies in one video, but I'm like, well, it would take me a long time to edit because you see how elaborate my editing has gotten now. It's like
right, yeah, that's it. See, so much of my stuff is just like unscripted stuff because it's easy and like it's fast to kind of put stuff out there. And I've gotten better at the unscripted stuff. Like I could like it actually has kind of helped my improvisational skills and just kind of like coming up with thoughts sometimes on the fly. Sometimes things are there, sometimes they don't really click. Like your brain's still trying to process it. It's helped in that regards, but like in a way, it's kind of taken away from my actual writing stuff down on the page type skill set. So you got to kind of work. You got to flex those muscles a bit. Here and there.
But
so I was kind of doing that a little bit today.
I was like, because I know I'm already knee deep in that video. It's taken me way longer to edit it than I imagined. So
the 6 films from the filmmaker one. Which filmmaker was it?
So it's actually Jerry Warren is the filmmaker.
Okay.
And he is the worst filmmaker of all time, hands down. Hands down, worst filmmaker of all time. You've never heard of him? Well, there you go.
I've heard of Neil Breen.
Here's the thing. All these directors that are considered the worst director, they are the worst director. Like they are among the worst directors, but they have something going for them, right? They have a fan base, right? Roger Corman.
Neil Breen has a fan base.
Yeah. Yeah, Roger Corman is considered one of the worst directors, but he has directed some good stuff. You know, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie,
he's
he's
got the
directed
B
some good
movie.
stuff. Yeah, um, Tommy Wiseau, terrible filmmaker, but there's something about The Room that people
I've
are
met Tommy
latching
a few
onto.
times. He was very nice to me. So like, I mean, the
Yeah,
room's actually coming to Fathom events on Tuesday, or did it? I already miss it. No, it's this Tuesday.
it's pretty soon. Yeah.
It's screening.
But yeah, Neil Breen, there's something about his movies that people like, so he has a fan base. Ed Wood was considered the worst filmmaker of all time, but nowadays it seems like everyone's in agreement. Ed Wood's movies aren't actually all that bad in the grand scheme of things. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, who is the true worst filmmaker of all time? And I narrowed it down to Jerry Warren. Jerry Warren's stuff is utterly atrocious, and it's purely meant for money, right?
It's cynically made. Like there's no joy in it. There's no so bad it's good. There's no fun.
No,
It's
no,
just
no, no.
boring.
His you might be aware of one of the movies. It's called The Incredible Petrified World, right? I reviewed it on my old channel, Movie Buff Productions. If you got talk about
I don't think I've seen
Blast from the Past, Movie Buff
Right.
Productions. But yeah, I reviewed it and then I took it down eventually, but because I was in 7th grade when I made that review. But
yeah,
I'm like,
some of those older videos.
I wanted to revisit The Incredible Petrified World, but I started researching Jerry Warren and I ended up watching his first movie, Man Beast, which is a Bigfoot movie. And I was like, oh, I should review a bunch of Bigfoot movies. And then I reviewed Legend of Boggy Creek, and that video did okay. And I'm like, all right, let me stick to like some Bigfoot stuff for a little bit. And so I wanted to talk about Man Beast, but by proxy, I also wanted to talk about Incredible Petrified World. And then I'm like, let me just talk about all his movies because they're all pretty much the same shit. And I could knock out all these movies in one video. Plus, I'd have a big video. So
right,
it's a
you could have a
win-win
big
for
video,
me.
and then what you could do is you take those segments, release them as standalone videos afterwards. So if people want to just see the individual ones,
yeah, absolutely.
and you can have like a quick intro, like, hey, this. What I would do is like do the one big video, and then like if you want to kind of release it as a standalone thing, do like a little intro, like, hey, this is so and so. This video, this comes from an entire thing. If you want to see the whole thing in a condensed thing, here's just my individual thoughts on just the specific movie. And then just like cut to like you talking about it. I think James Rolfe kind of did something similar when he did like the Halloween series, because like he had a separate video about Halloween 3, like not as bad as it said. He's like, well, everything I have to say is in this video, so cut to this. So
yeah,
I think it'd be a good way to kind of like put them as condensed videos. So if anyone wants to individually look them up, and plus you get double the videos or triple or 6 times that. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I would suggest. Like you do like the one video, and then just like for those segments, just talking about it. Just do a quick cutaway, like, okay, here's this thing on its own.
But yeah, it's fun to tear into Jerry Warren, but the problem is sitting through the movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, you're making me want to check out like this Man Beast thing, because like I haven't like really gone on to like scourge of like looking at some of the worst in quite a while. Like, although I really want to see a so bad it's good movie in theaters again, like something so stupid that I just laugh my ass off the entire time.
There's a point in
well, like I said, it's been so long since I've seen like a funny bad. I forgot which one where I just laughed my ass off. It was just so terrible. Maybe Cats, where I went with my brother to see the Cats movie, and that horrible nightmare fueled insanity that movie was.
Yeah. Well, did you see my Kung Fu Arts review? Because talk about so bad it's funny. That movie made me laugh to tears.
I don't think I watched that one. I'll have to look again, because I know there's a couple videos that I watched. I think I played like one of them recently when I was driving home from work. So like sometimes I like to do that. Like if I'm driving back, I'll like, okay, I'll listen to this. I'm only home. So
yeah, definitely check out my Kung Fu Arts video. That one, I had fun making that one.
But no, like I know you've like because like I said, I watched Boggy Creek and I watched the 98 one.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to talk about Jerry Warren and especially the end of his career, because he quit making movies in the mid 60s. And then one day he was kind of broke, or he needed to pay his taxes. And so it was like the 1980s. He's like, I'm going to make another movie. right? But the thing is, he had moved to like in the middle of nowhere and had not watched a movie since 1966, right? He refused to go to a movie theater and never watched a movie since 1966. So now it's the 1980s, and he's like, he needs money. So he's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and make a movie. So he called up his old
That's
regulars from the 50s and 60s. So he called up John Carradine, he called up Robert Clark. He, you know what I mean? Like he called up all these like 50s has-beens to come be in his like movie. He made it's called Frankenstein Island. It's a Frankenstein movie.
It sounds awesome.
It's like, yeah, the movie's not awesome, but it's really just fascinating to see like he hasn't changed. The movie is still ass, and it's like it's made like a 1950s movie with all these 50s B movie stars, but they're all old now.
Right.
And it's
That's
just fascinating.
fantastic.
Yeah, and it's just like I was like watch. I'm like, oh my god, this is just a perfect video, like a perfect career deconstruction
movie for you.
Knowing that, yeah. So it's just like, so I was like, I had to talk about this guy purely for that reason.
And you know, like
And
I said, that's
also,
one of the things I like about your channel. Cinematic trash. Looking at like if it's trash or treasure, basically, like all these kind of obscure things. And like that's kind of like an interesting like market that a lot of people don't really like tap into. Sometimes like it's all like kind of the known stuff, but sometimes it's fun to kind of go into something that's a little underground. I remember a few years ago when I covered the Bloodsport movies, getting to Bloodsport 4, like Bloodsport 4 should not be called Bloodsport 4. It is, so if you want to watch on the channel, like I did, like I even had like a whole storyline going on with them too. But basically, when it got to like Bloodsport 4, it's the same lead actor from 2 and 3, but he's playing a completely different character. And this movie is like it's like my version of The Room. It's so bad, but it's so amazing at the same time. Like it is an insane movie. Like in the middle of it, there's kind of like a weird musical number that kind of happens. The bad guy looks like Ben Franklin. The dubbing, like there's like one courtroom scene. It's the funniest courtroom, like one of the funniest courtroom scenes I've ever seen in a movie. It even has its own theme song. It's like Bloodsport. It's like like it just the dubbing and a lot of things are just really poorly done. You have no idea where this thing's. It's clearly shot somewhere like in Eastern Europe or something, or like in Europe, but like I guess it tries to pass off as like the United States. So much hammy overacting in this thing. I see the boom mic shadows in some shots. It really is an incredible, ridiculous movie. It's the weirdest DVD case I own too. It's like a jewel DVD case. It's unlike any. You know what? I'm gonna go look for it really quick. Go ahead and talk for a second. I'm gonna see if I can find this case just so you can see it on stream. Go ahead, Ott.
Well, if anyone's wondering, Jerry Warren, he basically just made movies for money and only for money.
All right.
The thing is, Jerry Warren does not have a box set devoted to him except for like one.
Look at this case,
set.
Pierce. Have you ever seen a DVD case look like this before?
Looks like a bootleg.
No, it's like I've never seen. You push a button and it opens up like that, and you get a bunch of other terrible movies. Like
looks like something you get from overseas.
Yeah, I think it was overseas. But yeah, look at, you can have all those movies right there. I feel like this is like an entire like catalog of cinematic trash stuff right here. But yeah, it's like Bloodsport 4. Daniel Bernhardt's a cool dude though. So I mean, I kind of became a big fan over the course of covering, like, because like the Bloodsport 4, I've actually watched Bloodsport 4 more than any other entry in that series, except maybe the first one, because the first one's generally a really good movie. 2 is and 3 are just kind of like forgettable. They're not like the best, but they're kind of easy to poke fun of. 4 is incredibly like bad, but it's kind of amazing, if you will. Like it's like one of my favorite so bad it's good movies of all time. It is like my own like little The Room. And you can watch it standalone because it has nothing to do with the other films. And just so many like dumb quotable lines and just bad dubbing. Like I said, the villain looks like Ben Franklin. And he's just, his name is, he looks like Ben Franklin. His name is Justin Caesar. And it just, he's such a Justin weird villain, Caesar. But it's just, yes, that's this.
Yes, the bad guy, Justin.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, like
Sounds
I did like a
so
whole like it's like
menacing.
a right. I have a 2-part review. It covers kind of everything, but it really is a work of art. Like I think you would that would be a movie you should watch just to
Yeah.
watch it. You don't have to watch anything else. It's a standalone movie. It has nothing to do with anything else. Um, but it is an incredible like work of art of a movie. Like it is a beautiful bad movie. I need to
Yeah.
watch it again because it's been a few years. But yeah, that was like one of the longest videos I'd ever done. It's like between both parts, it's like an hour long because there's just so much to talk about because it just keeps going and just gets crazier and crazier. Like by the end of this movie, like I said, there's a random like musical bit in the middle of the, like this Kumite fight scene, just comes right out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Random transitions that are all over the place. There's a weird like spinning sex scene that's like on a rotate, but they're not actually doing anything. We even dubbed it in
Yeah.
the review. We call it "Sex Without the Sex."
Sex
It's
without the
bad, but
sex.
anyways, yes, it's an incredible piece of cinema. It's a cinema. It's worthy of cinematic trash.
I believe it. Bloodsport 4, huh?
Bloodsport 4, The Dark Kumite, as they call it. So, like I said, the first movie is the Van Damme classic. Um, Main actor Daniel Bernhardt from 2 and 3. He's playing a completely different character. Literally, it's the main actor from 2 and 3, but he's playing a completely different character. Like, because in 2 and 3, his name is Alex Cardo, and then 4, his name is John Keller. Super
Yeah.
cop. Anyways, I haven't talked about that movie. I hadn't a chance to talk about it in a while. And then we also found out there was kind of like an unofficial 5th movie. It was called Supreme Champion, but like some titles had it like Bloodsport Supreme Champion, and it has the
Yeah.
Daniel Bernhardt in there. And like some of the people who worked on the other movies, like, does this count? I'm like, well, we might as well talk about it. And that's even like a storyline bit in those videos. So
Yeah.
that was fun to do. So like that was like kind of the end of like an ongoing story was when we got to the end of the Bloodsport stuff. But yeah, like Bloodsport 4. I know I'm like hyping it up, but it is a really a masterful bad movie. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on, Sean. Toho Tuesday. You blue balled everybody.
Yes. I need to get into that. I like I said, Toe Tuesday's one that's been on my mind for a few years now. It's just
I
a matter
asked
of
you if I could take Toho Tuesday, and you said no. And now 5 years went by. It still hasn't happened. I'm like, damn, Sean.
I know. I feel like it's one of those like filmmakers who sits on the rights to like a novel he's just not adapting by not
Yeah.
having it. But, I gotta get out there. I think you know what it is. Like I feel like I started like I think it was a few years ago I started second guessing myself when it came to doing
Yeah.
some certain like reviews. And then it's just like that second guessing nature has been on my mind for so long. I need to just go out and just put stuff out again.
It's not that you're second guessing yourself. It's because in the back of your mind, you know that it is a daunting task because there's so much to cover that you're like subconsciously,
Right. I
you're
have a
like,
whole list of it all.
you're just not ready to start, even though you want to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why
Well, the thing is, like, I
I'm
already did like
getting
I already have
mentally
like most
prepared.
like right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, for the Godzilla stuff in regards to that, I could just kind of like rework a lot of the old scripts and kind of like update because like those videos like from like 10 years ago need an update. I feel because like I'm like really quiet in them. I'm not like as loud on terms of the camera, except for the 98
Yeah.
video. The 98 video is kind of timeless because like I literally had like I had this actual like Zilla Godzilla 98 mask that's actually pretty good quality. It deteriorated over years. So I
Yeah.
had to throw it away. But in the video, I'm just like sitting there and I'm like the video opens up. I don't know if you saw my 30 days of Godzilla thing, but like the video opens up with me like yelling, like looking great at the camera, like I'm arguing with someone. It's like Zilla who's just like in the chair, like right across from me.
Yeah.
Just like taking like a verbal abuse. So yeah, but anyways, like I said, a lot of stuff to do. I do need to get back into that, just like this other stuff. I'm going to do what you said. I'm making a word right now. I will force myself. I'm going to start to make a schedule. Like I think that's the way to do it because I have other things I have going on during the week generally. But if I can get
Yeah.
like a set schedule, like okay, just like I'll have a writing hour, like just to at least force myself to kind of like maybe I'll work over it, maybe I'll not. But like to kind of have like some just focus on just this. I think once I get all the stuff written, then I could just film 100 videos, and you know what I mean. Like I could film a ton of stuff
Yeah.
in a day. And now with my microphone, like I just do all the voiceover at once. The shitty part though is the editing. I hate the editing part. The editing part's always the worst.
Yeah. Well, luckily, thing is, I like to edit because I'm certified editor now. But
Right. Okay.
it's the problem is the more elaborate you want your videos, the more complex the editing needs to be, and the more mistakes you make while
Mm-hmm.
recording means more stuff you have to fix in editing. And then the
Oh, I
editing
know.
isn't necessarily hard. It's just that it like
Time
any
consuming.
little things will make editing take longer. And then like if you
Right.
end up
And to
spending
avoid
too long,
copyright,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you have to do things to work on the copyright. Like what I do for the copyright stuff is I'll like take screenshots of the video like I spent all this time recording to get the footage and all that I need, and then I'll just
Yeah.
talk over that. And then now what I do, because like I don't like to have the static image on screen because it's kind of boring. I'll have like the like where the video kind of like moves across the image. Like, okay,
Yeah.
here's the starting position, here's the ending position. So there's always something kind of going on that kind of stimulates the video feel. And that just takes so long. That's the one thing I hate about editing. Is just how long it takes. I'll have like a couple page script, like, okay, how long is the script today, Sean? Oh, it's 5 pages. Oh, fuck. Then I have to edit that. Like if I do the live action footage, it's quick.
Mhm.
Okay, right here, right here. But then when I get to the voiceover style, because it sounds better, which like the end result's better with the voiceover, but it's so time consuming to edit some of
Yeah.
that stuff. Or
You
and that it
you
just
you can
that's the
imagine
thing I hate.
you can imagine how much of an incredible task it's going to be to edit this Jerry Warren video. My script was 22 pages
Mhm.
long, which is
I've
yeah.
had I can imagine that's going to be rather daunting.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be working on that for God knows how long. But that's why I pumped out the Night of the Sharks review in like a couple
Mhm.
days. I got that out. I was like,
Yep.
all right, at least I'll have something coming out. I'll start working on the giant monster movies history, have those start coming out in tandem with making those. I can
Mhm.
have this Jerry Warren video being made on the side. Uh, you know, that's just how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's
Good
a lot
stuff.
of
Good
other stuff
stuff.
I want to do too. I do want to do like a history of slasher movies, but that
Slasher movies
itself,
are fun. I've
yeah, that itself, because there's so much. There's a lot of movies that people don't realize exist. A lot of slasher movies. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
like
So
Tubi
it's
has a
like
lot of like slasher movies on there.
they do.
There was one
They
where it was like
do.
set in the woods. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like some what was it called? Set in the woods or like in the mountain, like on a camping trip or something like that. The Prowler? No, was it? I don't know. But it was like some
The
like
the burning was the burning takes place in
the
on
Burning
a
Man.
campsite.
Yeah, the Burning one was a campsite. That one has one of the most violent with the little like scissors, if you will, or
Yeah, yeah.
the hedge clippers. That was a pretty violent. That has like Jason Alexander in there. But there was another one I watched. I can't remember what it was called.
There was
It was set like in a mountain.
on a mountain. I don't know. I have a bunch. I have here's one that most people
It was
don't
on
know
Tubi.
exists. I have a movie called The Intruder. People don't people
What's
don't know this. The company that put out this Blu-ray is called Garage House Pictures, and they've kind of
Mm-hmm.
went under. So they like this is out of print now. This was a limited copy. So yeah, there's a lot of slasher movies that I want to talk about too, but I also have to find a balance of like giant monster movies, slasher movies,
Yep.
as well as just regular cinematic trash content. Not to mention my collecting videos. I still have yet to do a
Oh yeah.
collection video, and people have been wanting that. Or Nick has been wanting that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've refrained from doing a collection video because that too would take a long time to kind of put together. But I also have two
Mm-hmm.
collections. I have a collection back at my parents' house still, and the collection that I now have here in Orlando, which is
Right.
like, so it's like, well,
So
it's hard to do a collection video if I don't have my whole collection with me. You know what I mean? I could break it into
right,
parts, but
exactly.
then, but yeah, it's a lot of,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot of
I
things.
know what you mean. I know what you mean. So much stuff. So much stuff.
Do you still have VHS tapes?
But anyways, I feel like we talked.
Do you still have your VHS
I still
tapes?
do. They're in a little cabinet over
Yeah.
the side there. So whatever ones I have left. Yeah, I still have a good chunk of them. I wish I had my Godzilla ones still. But I have like a
Yeah.
little cabinet of just my VHS tapes, kind of off to the side.
I have a.
I actually like. I don't know if you. I have a whole video that's dedicated to like a tribute to VHS promos on my channel.
Yeah.
It's like one of the. It was like my 100th video special way back then.
Yeah.
But like, there's actually a bit I had to cut out due to copyright, and it was like the Goofy movie had this crazy VHS opening where there's like musical
Yeah.
number. My friend and I were just like confused as hell what was going on. But there's a lot of cool promos on VHS tapes. There's one that's like they had to redub. It was basically from the Rugrats movie, and it's like a Charlie Brown's Peanuts thing, but the guy instead of saying peanuts says penis videos. And the
Yeah.
reason we knew he said it because there was another version released later on where his voice was dubbed to say peanuts videos. It's a completely different voice. And because we know, because he
Yeah.
smirks when he says it, he's like, I got away with it. But yeah, like VHS promos were fascinating. I love VHS. Like some
Yeah.
bits I always kind of remember. But yeah, so VHS is pretty cool. I like the cover art and all that.
I got my hands on a couple laser discs. I got one right here.
I have one laser disc. I don't have a laser disc player. I have Batman.
I don't
89.
either. I can't find a laser disc player, at least not one for cheap. Yeah. I mean, the problem is I don't want to sink $500 on a Laserdisc player on eBay and then it not work when it arrives. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the tricky part.
I'll get mad. I'll get mad when I see Reddit posts of someone going to like a Goodwill and they find a Laserdisc player for $10, and I'm like, God damn it. I can't find one.
Yeah, I want to get one just so I can like say I watched a movie on Laserdisc. I should get a Betamax player too.
Yeah. I had a chance to buy some Betamax tapes, but I decided not to because I was like, well, I don't have a player. You know.
Yeah, I mean Betamax is higher quality than VHS, but the porn industry was the one that caused VHS to win.
Yeah.
If that's how I know how it goes. But
me and Ryan did a history of the home video formats way back when on our Cake Every Night channel that now is kind of dead.
I know, like all the videos were on there. Like we recorded so many videos on it. Because like the Cake Every Night joke was, I remember like just doing like random cake videos just because I thought it was funny. That was kind of a fun days of like the fandom and all that. Hopefully it picks up again. Because like King of the Monster, like 2018 to 2019 was some of the most fun I ever had on YouTube. It was like my love for it kind of came back when I was talking to all you all and just like doing streams with everyone and all that other stuff. It kind of brought that excitement back to it again. And like this year's like actually gone pretty okay for right now, but I want to get back more to that more exciting phase again too. Like 2020, even like the YouTube stuff kind of like helps me get through the year and that too. So, and now, like I said, I have a lot of people who follow the channel, and I don't know if anybody's still like watching in the chat at this point. Because I think we just went so far off of the Skull Island thing, but hey, you know what? Everyone's getting the added bonus of everything. I mean, I think we said all we needed to say about the show generally, unless I can think of something else. We'll see how things pan out. We'll see how the relationships pan out because clearly Charlie wants to get with Annie. Probably will happen. Mike, we'll see if he actually lives. And then we'll see. Well, Kong obviously lives. Dog is most of what happens to Dog. Like that'll be an interesting one. So, but anyways, I think we've rambled on long enough about some stuff. I think we should probably cut the stream. We can still talk afterwards, I guess. But I think people are probably like, okay, is this just going to keep going forever? But anyway, be sure to subscribe, everyone, to Cinematic Trash's YouTube channel. It does some amazing stuff. I mean, we just told you all the crazy stuff we were going to plan. Godzilla Fest. Are you gonna do like a vlog with that? Probably. Oh, I'm gonna try and do a vlog about it like I did before.
There's some things I want to do. I want to get like vlog footage, but like at the end of the night, I want to like put together like a really quick recap video of each day. So and have
I
them
think that
uploaded
would be
the day of each day at G Fest, and then the day afterward, I'll do like kind of like an overarching thing. I do want to do like a collaboration of some kind. I know Jack has something going on, but like I want to do
Yeah, I know. I
something
was gonna like.
for myself. I was like, we should get together and like do something. Maybe find a table and just like set up
Yeah, like
something for like
I'm gonna try and like
a few
I
minutes.
like something. I have to get some sort of collaboration while everyone's there. I know it's like
Yeah.
we're like 3 weeks away now. When I'm there, I definitely want to get something, even if it's just like a quick cameo or something. I want to get something on there. I got to think off the top of my head, what to do. But
Yeah,
I mean, we'll definitely have to.
I'm bringing my big camera this time. Last time I
I'm
had
just
like my
bringing
little
my little
tiny
Sony cam.
camcorder.
Yeah, I'm bringing my little Sony camera. And then that's about like all I'll bring. Last time I had my GoPro when I walked around, but the GoPro audio was terrible when you try
Yeah.
like it's like you know what I mean. So I'll just
Mhm.
like take my own camera, videotape stuff, put it away, and that's about it. So, but anyways, subscribe to the Cinematic Trash's YouTube channel. It's got a lot of stuff coming up, lots of great stuff. Pierce, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on for the show
Thanks for
tonight.
having me on.
It's yeah, namaste. It's we talked about so much stuff. It just felt good. Like I said, if I did this myself, it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. So, everyone, if there's anyone still in the probably not at this point because it's like well after midnight. But thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you had a good time. I know we just like went off and just other things, but you know what? It's been well over a year since anybody's been live streaming on this particular channel with me. So it makes me think I got to get back to doing this more often because it is a lot of fun. So anyways, that's all I got to say. Subscribe to his channel. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then. We'll see you all in the next video. Peace, everyone.
Peace.